Warning: the following fanfiction takes a pro-conservative bias and generally paints liberalism as bad. A major character here can be compared to President Trump. If you are not comfortable with a conservative-oriented fanfiction, then please exit right away. If you don't care and want to stay, then grab your popcorn, every pony, and let's read The Battle for Silverstream, a story about the true power of friendship.
Chapter 1 Out for the Summer / Practicing a Mother. It was June 2nd, 2020, and school was officially over for the summer. The students at Princess Luna's School for Gifted Students were very excited to return to their families. Silverstream, a hippogriff filly who had recently been freed from slavery following the conclusion of the Equestrian Civil War, was walking with her friends, Ocellus, Yona, Smolder, Sandbar, and Gallus to the door of the school. "You excited for the summer, Silverstream?" Gallus asked her. "Finally you can get out of that place and see President Hawk again." Silverstream nodded, keeping silent. Ocellus noticed this and gently prompted her. "What are you going to do for the summer, Silverstream?" "I don't know yet," Silverstream replied, her voice barely audible. Ocellus looked concerned. "Silverstream, can you at least try to talk to us? I know you still have scars from the past and all, but Principal Moonbeam has expressed concern, even though she knows about your plight. Silver, just try." Silverstream looked at Ocellus blankly. She knew Ocellus meant well, but she didn't understand how much she, Silverstream, had been through. "Forget it," Smolder said. "Slavery was too much for her." "Silverstream, I order you to talk to us," Ocellus said, hating to do this to her friend. This got Silverstream's attention. She hurriedly apologized profusely. "I hate doing this to her," Ocellus whispered. "What do you want to talk about?" Silverstream asked, fearful for her life now. I'll talk about anything, just don't hurt me." Ocellus sighed. "You know what? Forget it. I don't want to force you. I know you're going through a lot." She faced the others. "I'm going to walk her home. You guys catch the school bus. I'll just take the train." Gallus nodded. "All right." Two friends walked off the school campus in silence for several minutes. Ocellus could see the other students talking to each other, yapping on and on about typical teenager stuff. Ocellus wished she could talk to Silverstream about that stuff, but she couldn't. Silverstream wouldn't know what that stuff was, because she didn't have a normal upbringing. Silver grew up as a slave to the evil Solar Empire, and its leader, Empress Celestia. She was accidentally liberated during a battle in which the peaceful New Lunar Republic took her as leverage against the Empire. Silverstream was cared for by General Hawk of the Lunar Republican Army before she was sent to the school due to a minor run-in with the law enforcement. She was trying to protect the pony from being tortured by the officers. Ocellus remembered how they met. She practically cared for Silverstream all throughout the semester, and was there for her when she was recaptured by the Empire. She and Silver got along great, but there were things Ocellus couldn't do around her friend that she normally could around others. For one thing, she couldn't visibly show when she was frustrated with something. The one time she did that, Silverstream broke down in tears, thinking she was yelling at her. Silverstream wasn't your typical 13-year-old. She was perpetually mentally scarred by her traumatic upbringing. Ocellus silently cursed Celestia for what she did. "I'm sorry," Silverstream said, interrupting Ocellus' thoughts. For what? Ocellus asked. For making you exasperated. Silverstream replied. You were frustrated that I wasn't talking to you guys. Silverstream, Ocellus told her, it's fine. I shouldn't have ordered you to talk to us. I was only trying to speak to you in a language you understand, but I have to remember that freaks you out. Silverstream nodded, but Ocellus didn't think she completely understood, because she still looked worried. If only Celestia had never kidnapped Silverstream, she would grow up normally, and not have been involved in the war in the first place. You Celestia! Ocellus suddenly yelled, hating Celestia more and more for what she did to Silverstream. All the pain, all the neglect, the abuse, Silverstream didn't deserve that. Ocellus heard a whimper and turned around. Silverstream looked terrified, her eyes wide with fear and body trembling. Silverstream, I'm so sorry. Ocellus apologized. Silverstream flinched as Ocellus came near and begged her not to hit her. Silver, Ocellus began, but she could see that she had scared Silverstream a lot with her outburst. The two didn't say anything on the train headed to Ponyville. When they got to Hawk's cottage, Ocellus knocked on the door, and a tall gray bat pony opened the door. Hawk was in his purple guard uniform. Naturally, he had a lot of questions, seeing Silverstream in a frightened state. Ocellus explained everything, and Hawk nodded in understanding. You have to be careful, Hawk told her. Silverstream's practically scared of her own shadow, so I've seen. Anything can frighten her. Silver, come inside. Silverstream obeyed immediately, coming inside and waiting for further orders. I don't like using an authoritative voice with her, Ocellus told Hawk. It frightens her. So I've seen, Hawk replied, and I try not to use it either. I tried to ask nicely and gently for Silver to do something, but it's like she doesn't understand it. Whenever I try it, she stares at me blankly. Has that happened to you? Ocellus nodded. Well, thanks for walking her home. You better catch the train back to Changeling Kingdom before 5:34 p.m. That's when they stop. Ocellus nodded again. Silverstream said goodbye, Ocellus reciprocated, and closed the door. So how's it feel being the mom? Cornicle, Ocellus' older brother, asked her teasingly. Ocellus was at home, at the Changeling Kingdom, eating dinner with her family at their house. I'm not being the mom, Ocellus began, but her father cut her off. Well, why sure you are, hon, said her father. You practically raised that hippogriff when she was with you. And we're very proud of you for doing so. It's a noble act, going out of your way to care for someone in need. Thanks, Dad, Ocellus thanked him, but to be honest, I'm very worried about her. She's afraid of almost everything and everyone. That's not good. Thankfully, she's got you, her mother said. And that bat pony general, I keep forgetting his name. Crow? Hawk, Ocellus politely corrected her mother. He's the one who raises her, not me. But she was wrong about that, and she knew it. It wasn't just Hawk who raised Silverstream. When Silver was at the boarding school, Ocellus was practically a mother to her. She helped her, comforted her when she cried, encouraged her, and was a good friend to her. If Hawk was Silverstream's father, then Ocellus was her teen mom. Ocellus spent the night thinking about that fact. She remembered the first time she comforted Silverstream, and how she demonstrated motherly affection for her friend. Flashback. It was back at the school for gifted students in math class, where the teacher, Miss Sapphire, asked the school to talk to each other in groups how to solve an exponential function problem. Ocellus was already cruising by as she was a genius in math, and her table mates were getting by pretty easy, but she saw that Silverstream and the group across to her couldn't figure it out. Silverstream was struggling with the problem, Ocellus noticed, because she looked discouraged, and none of the table mates were lifting a hoof to help her. Time's up! Announced Miss Sapphire. Silverstream, can you tell us how to solve this exponential function? Hint, a table is needed. Ocellus was worried. She knew slaves in the Solar Empire grew up illiterate, and therefore Silver couldn't figure out the problem. The most she could do was offer encouragement. Silverstream saw her encouraging look and then spoke. So, you do this table, and she hesitated and thought about that. And then, eventually, she said she couldn't figure it out. Tears filled her eyes. Miss Sapphire looked surprised. Silverstream, you were paying attention, right? Everyone in the class burst into laughter. Ocellus was shocked at them. It wasn't Silverstream's fault she didn't have a normal education. As everyone continued to laugh at her, tears were streaking down Silverstream's face, and Miss Sapphire wasn't doing anything to stop them. Ocellus couldn't bear to see her friends suffering like that. She flew up from her seat and shouted, "How dare you! All of you!" Everyone stopped laughing and looked at her. "You all should be ashamed," Ocellus yelled. "You were all Imperial citizens once before Princess Luna split up and formed this republic. Any one of you could have been slaves. You guys think you have it all good, and you take for granted the fact that you could have been suffering under Celestia right now like she did." She pointed at Silverstream, who was wiping her tears. "And Miss Sapphire, I expected you to empathize the most with her, but you did nothing to stop their laughing. How can you expect to be the first senator one day if you can't even practice empathy?" Ocellus thought she said enough, so she went down and comforted the crying Silverstream, letting her crying through her hooves. Just then, Principal Moonbeam barged into the classroom. "What is going on here?" "Ocellus here caused a disruption during class," Miss Sapphire said. "To think I could be teaching flowcharts right now and running for election." Principal Moonbeam nodded in understanding. Disruption. That is not too good. Ocellus, come to my office now." Ocellus didn't move. She knew that was open defiance against the principal, but she could get expelled for all she cared. Her friend mattered more. She just sat there, holding Silverstream in her hooves. Principal Moonbeam stood there, glaring. She said, "Ocellus, I said come to my office now." Ocellus still didn't move. Finally, Silverstream wiped her tears and got to her claws. Thanks for comforting me. Hardly any creature has done that for me, ever." "You're welcome," Ocellus replied, feeling happy now that her friend felt better. "Now you go back to your seat. I expect that Principal Moonbeam has something important she needs to hear, alright?" Silverstream nodded and went back to her group desk. Ocellus then got to her hooves and followed Principal Moonbeam to the principal's office, where she told her what really happened. A while later, Principal Moonbeam brought Ocellus back to the classroom and said to the class, "You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves." The other students looked at each other, confused. "I'm sure Ocellus has told you all," Principal Moonbeam said, "that your classmate Silverstream comes from a terrible upbringing. She has spent 8 years as a slave to the Solar Empire. Just think, that could have happened to any of you if Princess Luna hadn't saved us from Celestia's wrath by seceding. You all take freedom for granted, when you are all very lucky to have it. As I said, you all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. If you are not, well then, you could just leave the Republic and experience Silverstream's plight for yourselves." Ocellus noticed that the other students now looked very regretful and ashamed. Principal Moonbeam went up to Miss Sapphire and said, "Something like this must never happen again. I expect you to discipline them next time, got it?" Miss Sapphire nodded. Finally, Principal Moonbeam went over to Ocellus and said, "You did the right thing by telling me. Now aren't you glad you went with me to my office?" When Ocellus nodded in agreement, Principal Moonbeam left the room saying, "Ciao." The classroom door closed behind her. Ocellus quickly developed a big reputation after that. Gallus and Smolder, who formerly picked on her, approached her later that day. "I take back everything I said about you," Smolder told her. "I had no idea you had the guts to stand up to a whole classroom, even the principal, for your friend. That was cool." "You're totally on the team now," Gallus added. "You know, if you and Silverstream want to hang out with us sometime." Ocellus came up with a witty response that shocked both creatures. "Maybe. We'll see." Ocellus smiled, thinking of that day. The condition she gave Gallus and Smolder was that they had to stop bullying her and not ditch class like they've been doing. It worked until after the war, when Gallus and Smolder became troublemakers again. Smolder's reasoning for that was that she was restoring things back to normal. But nothing would be normal, for Cozy Glow, a vengeful filly at the school, viewed Silverstream's life of freedom with disdain, and she was going to take it away. The conspiracy would only start, though, as soon as Hawk won the presidency of the Republic. Chapter 2. Winning the Election / Jealousy. Unbeknownst to Silverstream, there was a reason why her adoptive father, Hawk, was so busy. Since the end of the war, Hawk had been launching an election campaign for the 2020 presidential election. He tried to split his time between the campaign and caring for Silverstream, but faced active opposition from his liberal opponent, Cozy Glow's mother, Amber Rays. Amber Rays campaigned for the poor and promised that if she won the election, she would distribute land amongst the Earth Ponies and raise taxes for the rich. Democrat. Essentially, she was a communist, but she didn't want to admit that. Hawk ran for the Republican Party of Equestria, while Amber ran for the fledgling Socialist Democratic Party of Equestria. Now, just to clear things up, the Republican Party of Equestria existed during the Equestrian Civil War. I mean, obviously, I have not made the first one yet, but I am confirming that the Republicans existed during the war, and the Socialist Democrat Party only came after. Silverstream wanted to help her adoptive father, so she asked him if she could help with the campaign. Surprisingly, he agreed, but not in the way she was expecting. He told her that she could bring honor to his name by continuing to be the kind and polite hippogriff she was, and being an example to other creatures, which would show the integrity of the Republican Party. Silver agreed, although she was kind of upset she couldn't be his campaign manager. She knew not to press forward, though, as she learned from her experience as a slave that pressing on never ended well. Plus, the role Hawk gave her was enough. She loved making Hawk proud of her. It made her feel good about herself in a time where her morale was practically broken by slavery. And by November of 2020, it worked! It turned out that Silverstream's kindness and compassion towards others brought more ponies flocking to the Republican Party, as they felt that Silverstream's politeness was a result of her conservative upbringing. Not everyone knew of her time as a slave, but that was alright, as Silver preferred not to talk about it. On November 20th, 2020, it was announced at the Lunar Court Senate that Hawk was the new president of the Republic, the first landmark victory for the Republicans. When Hawk arrived home, Silver couldn't help but embrace him as soon as he got to the door. It was a day to celebrate. "You did it, Mr. Hawk! You won!" Silverstream exclaimed, having her first excited smile in years. Hawk smiled back. "I couldn't have done it without you. I'm more proud of you, Silverstream, than I am about my victory." Silverstream was confused. "Why?" "Make no mistake," Hawk said, putting his foot on Silverstream's shoulder. "I am extremely elated that my party won, but I am more happy to have you as a daughter. That is what matters most." They embraced each other again, and Silverstream hurried to prepare him a victory lunch, making him his favorite apple pie, even though Hawk said that she didn't have to do it, although he was really grateful. "Should we throw a party?" Silverstream asked him. "I hear ponies talking a lot about that sort of stuff in school, and I'm curious to know what it's like. Only if it's okay with you, though." "A party?" Hawk echoed. He thought about it. "Well, it's Friday, so it's practically the prologue to the weekend. Shouldn't be that big of a hassle. Alright, if you can invite your friends over, I'll get the decorations ready. Sound good?" Silver nodded, and Hawk felt glad to see her happy and smiling. He had been researching different ways to connect with her ever since ponies discovered the internet during the war. He found a lot of useful suggestions, although caring for Silverstream was harder than he thought. She was very dutiful and kind, but she was basically scared of everything. Hawk had to be careful what he said or how he said it. Even now, a year after the war, and 1 month after summer break, when Silverstream was beginning to come out of her shell, Hawk still had to be careful. But now, he had a victory party to look forward to. He wouldn't be surprised if Silverstream managed to invite the whole school. Of course, that was kind of unlikely, as not all students and staff were Republican, according to a recent political poll done by the state during the school year. But that didn't matter, as part of a functional democracy was accepting the results of an election. He bet teenagers were pretty good at that, though he didn't know for sure. How bad can it be? He thought. "It's absolutely a disaster! Don't you raise your voice at me, young Billy!" her father roared. Cozy Glow didn't listen. She stormed out of the house in a fit of rage after she dumped a bowl of hazelnut soup on her father's mane in frustration, completely slamming it. Ugh. Cozy Glow ran and ran until she bumped into one of her good friends, Fen Gallop, who was also a good friend of her mother's. "Whoa, chill out, Cozy," Fen Gallop exclaimed, shocked at Cozy's frustrated demeanor. "Don't tell me to chill out, you money-loving cheapskate." Ocellus shouted, causing Gallop to gasp. My mother lost the presidential election, and you're telling me to chill out? No, Amber lost the election? Gallop asked. Oh, that's a shame. This country needs some socialist reforms if you ask me. I guess Big Bad Hog is the leader now? And Cozy Glow nodded. This was our only chance to get out of the dump. If the rich were equal to the poor, then we would be free, while the rich starve. I'm so mad, I could blow up the world. Steal a nuclear bomb and go ahead. In Cozy Glow's imagination. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of the fantasy. Unfortunately, I can't, Cozy Glow said. I want to, but then they'd lock me up. I just hate Hawk so much. I hate Silverstream so much, too. Why do you hate her exactly? Gallop inquired. She's a pacifist weakling who's too pathetic to even stand up for herself. Her precious friends have to help her out. Why do you have a grudge even? Why do you even have a grudge against her? Because, Cozy Glow replied, she has more privileges than she even knows. Her father, Hawk, was a military general before he became president, so he got paid by the government to live in that cottage in Cantropolis. Silverstream will inherit that wealth, and she doesn't even know it. Why does Silverstream get to live the life of luxury, while my family rots at the bottom of the food chain? It's just not fair, Gallop. I wanted to get out of the dump so bad. I wanted to finally live in Canterlot, where I could be among the rich and privileged. I wanted my family to finally be able to afford adequate food and living conditions. Gallop, I wanted nothing fancy. I just wanted to have a higher social status so my family wouldn't be socially discriminated against. I was so happy when my mother decided to run to get a chance to live like the more happy ponies up there. Instead, we're stuck in a dump like the Russian proletariat. We're stuck on their farms courtesy of the Russian Tsar. That does sound pretty sad. Gallop admitted. Normally, I wouldn't care. But you're my good friend, Cozy Glow. Something obviously must be done about that little brat, Silverstream, and her almighty father. But what? We need to come up with a plan. Let's get Surrey Polymer. Chapter 3. The Party / Revelations. Ocellus was shocked to hear that she and the whole school were invited to the so-called victory party, celebrating Hawk's successful election as President of the Republic. She was very excited to hear that news. Her family, despite living in a monarchy, had personal ties to the Equestrian Republican Party, and were extremely elated to hear that Republicans won the Equestrian government. Ocellus, despite going to school in Equestria, had not chosen her own political path yet. She aimed to become a doctor once she graduated college after high school, so she was in no way going to run for office as a politician. Political stuff just wasn't her thing. But she believed that if she was to choose a political party to support at the moment, it would be the Republicans, as their conservative methods so far brought good for the country, as seen from policies passed by the Lunar Court Senate. She asked her parents via email if she could go to the party, and they agreed, as long as she didn't drink any alcohol as she was underage. Ocellus couldn't even fathom getting addicted to drugs and or alcohol, so she strongly agreed. What Ocellus heard turned out to be true. The whole school was invited, as some other random ponies. The party took place at 6:00 p.m. on Sunday, and was hosted by Hawk and Silverstream. Silver looked much happier now, and Ocellus was relieved and happy that her friend was feeling alright. Hey, Ocellus, Smolder said, coming towards her in the crowd. You enjoying the festivities? Ocellus nodded. It's really fun, actually. I'm looking for Silverstream so I could ask her how she's doing. Have you seen her? There she is right now. Smolder pointed to a familiar light pink hippogriff coming their way. Ocellus! Silverstream exclaimed. You're here too? That's good. I invited the whole school. Noticed, Smolder replied. Got every creature on board with this shindig. Never thought winning a political election warranted a victory party to this scale, but I actually like the occasional fun from time to time. I knew he could do it, Silverstream told them. I always had faith. Hey guys, Gallus called. Minuet's gonna do some pin the tail on the pony. Wanna come play? Silverstream nodded and she and her friends headed over. The party lasted late into the night, until about 10:45 p.m., where everyone crowded into the family room to watch the inauguration speech done by Hawk earlier on Friday. Hawk turned on the TV and Spike News came on. Like literally Spike News named after Spike the Dragon. I can't believe how clever that was. The reporter said, "This is breaking news. We come to you live with revelations about the 2020 election in which the Republican Party won a landslide victory over the Socialist Democratic Party, and Hawk is now the new president of the United Lunar Republic." Cool stuff, said Ocellus. Once again, I'm very happy for you and Hawk. However, said the second reporter, catching everyone's attention, things are not sitting well with the Lunar Court Senate as King of the Hill, top of the heap, wealthy business stallion, Sun Yalp is filing charges against Hawk on behalf of the Socialist Democrats, claiming that the president colluded with Premier Latyaskov's new USSR in order to get himself elected. Sun Yalp presents supposed documents found in the Counterlot archives that detail secret dealings with the faraway Moscow Kremlin that includes... All of a sudden, Hawk turned off the TV. Mr. Hawk, what? Silverstream began before Hawk cut off, ordering her. The party's over. Tell everyone to go home. Silverstream nodded. Mr. Hawk says you all have to go home. Are you kidding me? Gallus demanded. Everyone talked among themselves worriedly. Hey, you're not sleeping over tonight. Just go. All of you. Hawk told them. Go home. Everyone seemed reluctant. Are you deaf? I said go! Hawk roared, frightening everyone to the point where they ran. Ocellus didn't know what was going on, but she felt Smolder pulling her towards the door. They all left hurriedly, and Hawk took a few deep breaths to calm himself. He looked back and saw Silverstream trembling, eyes wide in alarm. Silverstream, I'm so sorry. Hawk apologized. Are you alright? Well, why'd you send everyone home? Silverstream asked him. I thought we were all having fun. We were, Hawk replied. But it's nothing you should be concerned about. Go to bed. I will take care of this. Okay, Silverstream answered, going towards the staircase and heading upstairs after telling him good night. Hawk echoed that sentiment. He didn't mean to frighten everyone, including Silver, but he didn't understand the allegations. He hadn't colluded with the Soviet Union. Where were these charges coming from? Tomorrow, he would go sort it out at the Senate. Chapter 4. No Turning Back / Hawk Pulls a John Proctor. Cozy Glow, Sven Gallop, and their newest addition, disgraced fashionista Suri Polymer, smiled from their hiding spot in the bushes as they saw Hawk head outside the cottage and fly off towards Canterlot. Word got around pretty quickly in Canterlot, Sven Gallop noticed. Oh, most definitely, Suri Polymer agreed, grinning mischievously. I'd honestly be surprised if Hawk goes and rips those documents, okay? Or, Cozy Glow said, what they would call documents. How'd you get the idea of a new Soviet Union, Sven Gallop? You didn't hear? Sven Gallop asked. Actually, the return of the Soviet Union is kinda legit. A news broadcast last week showed the hoisting of the hammer and sickle over the Kremlin at Russia. Vladimir Putin signed a treaty of reunification with the former Soviet republics, officially reuniting them. Then Putin gave the job of leader to Rick Latyashkov, one of his deputies. Latyashkov officially gave the Communist Party of the Russian Federation full control over the restored USSR just a few days ago. So yeah, the new USSR actually exists. I had no idea, Cozy Glow told him. Well, I guess communism was bound to return to Russia one day. I just knew it. The Red Bear was only hibernating, not dead, as some nostalgists said. Now, how are we going to present more evidence? It's going to have to take more than 2 documents to convict the president. And then what? Surrey asked her. After Hawk is over and done with, what do we do with that little brat, Silverstream? In this country, too. You never quite specified, okay? My mother will take charge of this country, Kozuko explained. And as for Silverstream, well, let's just say I have big plans for her. Such as making her my slave and breaking her spirit, torturing her so much she'll wish she was never born. All that blood, all those scars from us whipping her. It'll be so much fun to watch as she cries and begs for mercy. Sorry, Polymer said uneasily. You do know MLP is a kid's show, right? Nonsense, Kozuko dismissed. It's an all-ages show. It's attracted a grown-up following as well, so we don't have to worry about being too dark. The people reading this fanfiction will love it. Sorry, shrugged. Yeah, you have a point there. So, when do we present the new evidence? Right as soon as we make it up, right? Yap suggested. The next day in Canterlot, Kozuko and our fellow conspirators found Hawk talking with First Senator Spitfire, former Wonderbolt's captain, and now leader of the Senate, about the false allegations. I don't know, Spitfire said, her voice skeptical. The evidence seems pretty real to me. Archive documents cannot be forged. Sorry. Every creature knows this is illegal. But that's precisely what Sun Gallop did, Hawk insisted. I can prove that they're fake. Just give me them. Sorry, Spitfire replied. I don't have them. They've been returned to the archives where they belong. However, she got out her mobile phone and called the archives manager. A while later, a gray muscular-looking Pegasus stallion came in carrying the two documents. He handed it over to Spitfire and left. Sun Gallop said, "This is my chance." "Be careful," Kozuko warned him through whispers. One trip to the furnace and that's it for us." Sun Gallop nodded and came out of the bushes. "Hello, Miss First Senator. I see these are the documents we presented." Spitfire nodded. "You bet it is. The new president called these charges fake. Do you agree with this ludicrous statement?" "Of course not," Sun Gallop said. "In fact, let me show you how they're perfectly real. Hawk, I wonder why I'm on to you." Hawk shouted at him. "You forged these documents to frame me for colluding with Latniskov. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have never met Latniskov ever." "That is a lie!" Sun Gallop insisted. "Just let me see those documents." Hawk snatched the documents and ripped them to shreds. "You mean these?" Spitfire gasped and everybody else witnessing the conversation also gasped. "You ripped the documents?" Sun Gallop asked in horror. "You can't do that! Just like you can't frame me for this just so you can get to my daughter!" Hawk yelled, picking him up and dropping him to the ground. Hawk then quickly flew off towards Ponyville before the federal police arrived. Sun Gallop hurried back to the bushes where Suri and Cozy checked them all over. "Okay," Suri concluded. You're uninjured. Thank Luna. Now what?" Sun Gallop peeked his head out of the bushes and yelled, "After him!" Chapter 5. Arrest / Broken. Silverstream was at home doing her chores and preparing Hawk some breakfast when all of a sudden Hawk barged into the cottage, locking the door tight, causing Silver to drop her pancakes because of the noise. "Mr. Hawk, I'm sorry about the pancakes." Silverstream apologized, hurriedly trying to pick them up. "That was your breakfast, and forget the pancakes, come with me," Hawk ordered her. Silverstream complied and hurried with them over to a table where they hid under. Silverstream didn't understand what was going on, and naturally, she trembled in fear, whimpering as the whole thing frightened her to death. "It's gonna be alright," Hawk told her comfortingly. What are we hiding from?" Silverstream asked, her voice trembling and shaking as with the rest of her. The door then barged open, and Cozy Glow, Sorry Polymer, and Sun Gallop came in, along with 50 lunar guardsmen and Princess Luna. "In the name of the Lunar Court Senate of the Republic," Princess Luna announced, "you are under arrest, Mr. President." The guards all brandished their spears Jedi style and aimed it at him. "Silverstream, stay here," Hawk told her. Silverstream obeyed and stayed under the table. She saw as Hawk went up to the guards, and when they apprehended him, Silverstream knew instantly what was going on. She immediately climbed out of the table and shouted, "Please, don't take him!" "Silver," Hawk said, "I told you to." "I'm sorry, Mr. Hawk, but this is important," Silverstream said, contradicting him for the first time. It felt weird and wrong to her, and she knew she had to save him. "Please, haven't you ever had a dream?" Oh, the skin be tangled inspired.
"Please, haven't you ever had a dream?"
I've had a dream once. Boom! I'm malicious, mean, and scary. My sneer to Colonel Dairy, and violence-wise, my hands are not the cleanest. But despite my evil look, and my temper, and my hook, I've always yearned to be a concert pianist. Can't you see me on the stage performing Mozart? Tickling the ivory till they gleam. Yes, I'd rather be called deadly for my killer social medley. Thank you, cause way deep down inside I got a dream. He's got a dream. He's got a dream. See, it ain't as cruel and vicious as I see. Though I do love breaking femurs, you can count me with the dreamers. Cause like everybody else, I've got a dream. I got scars and lumps and bruises, but something here that oozes, and let's not even mention my complexion. But despite my extra hooves and my pointer and my hooves, I always want to make a love connection. Can't you see me with a special little stallion, rowing in a rowboat down the street? Though I'm one disgusting blighter, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Cause way deep down inside, I got a dream. I've got a dream. I've got a dream. And I know one day romance will reign supreme. Though my face leaves people screaming, there's a child behind it dreaming. Like everybody else, I've got a dream. Rainbow likes to quick and be a florist. Polly does interior design. Tigers into mine, Dasher Jr.'s cupcakes are supply. Ranking knits his bolt sews and the little puppet shows. And Santa collects ceramic unicorns. What about you? I'm sorry, me? What's your dream? Oh, sorry, boys. I don't sing. I got dreams like you, no really, just much less touchy-feely. They mainly happen somewhere warm and sunny, on an island that I own, dead and rested and alone, surrounded by enormous piles of money. Yeah, I got a dream, I got a dream. I just want to see the floating lanterns gleam. Hey! And with every passing hour, I'm so glad I left my tower. I got you lovely folks, I got a dream. He's got a dream. He's got a dream. See our differences, really that extreme. We're one big team. Call us brutal, sick, sadistic, and grotesquely optimistic. Like everybody else, I've got a dream, I've got a dream, I've got a dream, got a dream, I've got a dream, I've got a dream, I've got a dream. Yes, lady, down inside, I've got a dream. Yeah! Oh, yeah!
After the song, everyone eventually stopped laughing, and one of the guards, named Owl, will say, despite that awesome number and all of us have musical number and all of us having dreams, Hawk is still under arrest. Why? Silverstream asked. I need him. We understand, Princess Luna said. But crimes like colluding with the USSR, ripping up evidence, recklessly assaulting a self-proclaimed whistleblower, all crimes that shame the Republican Party, cannot go ignored. In the meantime, Cozy Glow and her friends will take care of you. Right, Hawk? Hawk nodded. Sounds like a good idea. He faced Cozy Glow and her fellow conspirators. Take good care of Silverstream while I'm away, alright? Hopefully I can explain to the Senate my side of the story and they'll let me return to her. But you guys are in charge of her while I'm away, okay? Hey, of course. Cozy Glow replied. We'll take great care of her. Silverstream, come with me. I'll take you to my house. Silverstream shook her head, refusing to go. I'm not leaving him. Yes, you are. Then Yelp told her harshly, obey her! He grabbed her by her tail and pulled her towards the back door. Silverstream struggled, trying to free herself and screaming Hawk's name. Cover her mouth, for Luna's sake! Fairy Polymer said, exasperated. Cozy Glow rushed over and did.
Silverstream kicked Cozy off her and managed to free herself. As the guards let Hawk away, Silver ran after them. She couldn't help it. She couldn't leave him. Mr. Hawk! Silverstream cried out, trying to catch up. Princess Luna and the other guards took Hawk into the police carriage, which flew off. Silverstream continued to scream Hawk's name, breaking down sobbing soon after. Come back! Cozy Glow came over to her saying, It's okay. And the Avengers track, even for you supposed to play in the scene, I think I'm too late to play the soundtrack now, so I'll just edit it after this. This is time-lapse. As the police carriage disappeared into the sky, Silverstream felt her world shatter forever. Hawk was the only creature besides Ocellus who spent time with her and helped comfort her when she felt scared. Now he was gone. She felt so alone. Disheartened and demoralized, Silverstream obediently followed Cozy Glow to Amber Ray's house, and Furry Polymer and Sun Gallop watched with looks of regret. You think we went too far? Furry Polymer asked. Look at that poor thing. You never expected it to be this hard. There's no turning back now, sorry. Sun Gallop said, shaking his head. We did the deed, now we can't undo it. The moment Silverstream arrived at Cozy Glow's house, which was behind the local dump, she didn't even bother to tour it. She just found the nearest couch and cried relentlessly. She was inconsolable. Cozy Glow tried to maintain a tough facade, but inside, she felt bad. Silverstream didn't know this, though. Get up, Cozy Glow commanded her. That's an order. Silverstream obeyed and sat up, though her face was streaked with tears. Amber Rays came into the room and said, Welcome home, Cozy. Can I get you some... She noticed Silverstream. Oh, I take it the deed was done? Yes, the deed was done, Cozy told her mother. Not exactly happy with how much heartache it caused this one, but at least we got ourselves a slave. Silverstream heard this and immediately understood. This was why Cozy Glow and her fellow conspirators went through all this to get Hawk arrested. Cozy wanted to enslave her. Well, Cozy got her wish. Silverstream didn't want to go back home anyway. It served as a bad memory of earlier. I'll do whatever you want, Silverstream told Cozy, wiping her tears. I lost Mr. Hawk. I don't have anything left. Amber Rays nodded. You're my daughter's slave now, so you do whatever she says. She's free to treat you how she wants. Meanwhile, I got an office of power to take over. You wanted to be the president, did you? Silverstream assumed. Amber Rays nodded again. That's right, and now I got it. With Hawk out of the way, we can finally get out of the dump. Don't get used to this place, Silverstream. We'll be moving in a matter of days. I'm delighted you live with us now. Silverstream didn't know what to say to that. She decided not to say anything. All she knew was that she would probably never see her friends again, nor would she ever see Hawk again. Everything was lost. Chapter 6. Changes/Slavery. It was revealed later that day that Hawk was taken before an impeachment court in the Senate, where he was quickly found guilty and removed from office, as well as being sent to the island prison of the Chateau d'If. Cozy Glow's mother, Amber Rays, then took over the presidency and transformed Equestrian to a socialist country in a matter of days. It was in no way totalitarian communist, but it was socialist nonetheless. The rich nobles were taxed endlessly, and the country overflowed with illegal immigration from the neighboring zebra kingdom of Zavira as a result of open borders. Amber Rays made changes to the constitution to give herself more power, but not too much. She soon took enough money to move both she and her family to Canterlot, where they enjoyed a life of luxury. That was until Amber's husband and Cozy Glow's father, Lord Steadyhooves, divorced Amber and moved to Zavira to feed off the capitalist economy. His reasoning was that now that Equestria was a socialist country, he didn't want to live there anymore, so he left. Cozy Glow made Silverstream into a yard slave and house servant. Silver was worked all day and whipped if she didn't do her work on time. She was also pulled out of school, which meant she couldn't see her friends again. She was utterly broken. Cozy treated her worse than Celestia did. Silverstream was also forced to sleep outside, and many ponies could hear her whimper at night. It was really terrible. When Cozy Glow went back to school, she locked Silverstream down in the basement and chained her up. When she went back home, she unchained Silverstream, but then made her do house chores and then slave outside in the yard in the hot sun. But it wouldn't last long, for starting with Ocellus' visit that Monday afternoon, the biggest lawsuit in the history of all lawsuits would unfold. Chapter 7. Ocellus' Visit. Ocellus was very worried about Silverstream. Silver hadn't come to school in several months, and everyone was extremely concerned. Ocellus wanted to find out what was going on, So she called home and asked her brother Cornicle to cover her at school while she went to find Silverstream. The only thing she knew was that Hawk had been arrested and that had shaken Silverstream deeply, but that was all. She asked around town, and some pony pointed out that Silver no longer lived in Ponyville. She now lived in Canterlot with her abusive new family, but she could at Cozygo somehow. Ocellus gasped when she heard abusive. Something was not right. She hurriedly took the train back to Canterlot and found a luxurious gold mansion right next to Princess Celestia's old school, which had been renovated and turned into a community center. She knocked on the door of the mansion. There was a pause. And suddenly Cozy Glow opened the door, her school bag on. Cozy Glow! Ocellus said, shocked. You're not at school either? No wonder we didn't see you. Cozy Glow nodded. Late. If I get detention, I'll blame it on Silverstream. Why are you here? Shouldn't you be at school? I asked my older brother to cover for me while I go and find out why in Luna's name Silverstream has not been to class for several months, Ocellus told her. May I see her? She's chained up in the basement, Cozy Glow responded. You could talk to her down there. Follow me. Ocellus followed Cozy Glow inside the house and down the basement steps, where she saw Silverstream chained to a wall, gagged. Ocellus gasped in horror. Silverstream! I'll leave you two down here until after school, Cozy Glow said, smiling. Now, you're both stuck down here. Cozy Glow flew back up the stairs and closed the basement door, locking both Ocellus and Silverstream down in the basement. It took Ocellus about an hour to undo Silverstream's restraints that chained her to the wall, but eventually she was able to, removing the gag also with some effort. Once she was free, Silverstream looked at Ocellus hopefully. Ocellus, is that you? I'm here, Silverstream, Ocellus told her reassuringly, but now we're both locked down here. You're all scratched and bruised. What happened? Ocellus saw tears leak down Silverstream's face and immediately knew she shouldn't have asked. Silverstream told her in a shaking, trembling voice, Cozy Glow, she told me I would never see you again, and she made me sleep outside, taunted me, starved me. Silverstream cried, and Ocellus comforted her. She couldn't believe Cozy Glow had done this to poor Silverstream. When Silverstream was done and wiped her tears, Ocellus began to ask her questions that only confirmed her worst fears. It was all because of the election, wasn't it? Ocellus asked her. When Silverstream nodded, her worst fears had been realized. Cozy Glow. She wanted revenge on you and Hawk because of the election results, didn't she? She wanted her mother to become president. Again, Silverstream nodded. She kept asking Silverstream questions, and each time the latter nodded, it felt like a stab to the heart each time. She couldn't believe that Cozy would be so angry as to frame Hawk for crimes he didn't commit, and enslave his adopted daughter to the point where she was utterly broken. You shouldn't have come, Silverstream told her. Oh, what if she kidnaps you and forces you to become her slave like me? That would cause the Changeling Kingdom to declare war on Equestria, Ocellus replied. Something I think Big Bad Amber Rays doesn't want affecting her presidency. But as she said that, she realized the sad truth that eluded her even when she first met Silverstream. Silverstream only had Hawk as a guardian. She was stolen from her home in Sequestria when she was just 5 years old. Her real parents probably didn't even know she was still alive. Queen Novo probably didn't know her niece was still alive. While Ocellus had the luxury of being under King Thorax's protection, meaning that if she was ever abused or tortured by the ponies of Equestria, the Changelings would consider it an act of war and get revenge. Silverstream had no outside protection. The only family she had was Hawk, and he was gone, leaving her to be abused by Cozy Glow and her family without fear of retribution. Ocellus sighed. Silverstream cautiously asked what was wrong. She didn't want to let Silver know what she was thinking. She didn't want to hurt Silverstream more by telling her that her family didn't even know she was still alive. Ocellus shook her head. It's nothing. The two of them sat there in the dim light in silence for over 4 hours, each internally reflecting on their own lives and experiences. Just then the door opened, and Cozy Glow was there. I have returned. Ocellus, you need to leave now. I have Sven Gallop and Suri Polymer coming over for a visit in just 30 minutes, and I do not want any interference from you. Go. Ocellus nodded. Stay determined, Silverstream. We'll sort this out, I promise. Silverstream nodded. Ocellus then flew out of the basement and left the house, determined to come up with a plan. She knew just who she could ask. Chapter 8. Suggestions / an idea. You want me to contact the Sea Pony / Hippogriff Kingdom? Sunset Shimmer, Ocellus' personal tutor, asked. How do I do that? She was at Sunset's house. She had asked her tutor if she could come over to her house to ask for a favor. Sunset agreed, but this favor seemed a little too hard. I don't know, Ocellus replied, but I need their help. I need to let them know that Silverstream is still alive. Okay, Sunset said, jotting down notes, but in all seriousness, though, I'm just a math tutor. I don't have any contact with the other kingdoms. Only your teachers have that sort of contact. Or maybe Princess Luna, but I have nothing. Ocellus thought about it. Then she realized she could talk to Princess Luna. That was how she could reach out to Mount Eris / Equestria. Thanks, Miss Shimmer. You're a big help, Ocellus exclaimed, running out of the house. You're welcome, Sunset called after her, but saying to herself after she was gone, what helpful thing did I do exactly? Ocellus hurried towards the train station, caught the train, and took it to Canterlot again, and requested entry to the Senate building. Initially, the night guards refused, but when Ocellus lied that she was on a diplomatic mission from her kingdom, the guards relented and let her in. The Senate was in session with bureaucrat ponies and was endlessly debating taxes and policies. Amber Rays was there, and Ocellus laid low as not to be noticed. But as soon as Amber Rays stepped out and Princess Luna stepped in, Ocellus shouted, Princess, I need to talk to you. All eyes were on her. Luna turned and saw her and opened her mouth to call security, but Ocellus convinced her to let her speak to her. We can talk in my private quarters. Everyone else, keep debating your horrible taxes. I'm going out. Princess Luna and Ocellus stepped out of the Senate chambers where the senators resumed debating like nothing had ever happened, and into Luna's private quarters, where Princess Luna said, What in my name are you doing in the Senate? Do you realize that you have just interrupted an important business for my friend Silverstream? Ocellus interrupted her. I need your help to free her from Koziko's abuse. I need you to contact the Sea Pony / Hippogriff Kingdom and tell them to send representatives here. Why? Princess Luna asked. What good can that do? Trust me, Ocellus said, even though she was totally winging it. I need your help, Princess Luna. Please. Ocellus looked into Ocellus' desperate expression and finally agreed. Alright, fine, I'll get the transmission device. Princess Luna's horn lit up blue, and she levitated the gray platform onto the floor, where she stepped on it and said, This is Princess Luna of the United Lunar Republic of Equestria. Silverstream is alive. Bring over Oceanflow, Skybeak, Terramar, and Queen Novo immediately. I'm gonna see if I can play this soundtrack. Hold on. In the Kingdom of Mount Earth, the Hippogriffs were attending the Festival of Hope. The festival was created by... Actually, I don't think I can play it in time. Never mind. In the Kingdom of Mount Eris, the Hippogriffs were attending the Festival of Hope. The festival was created 9 years ago by Queen Novo to basically sacrifice prized possessions on a fire in order to send out a prayer to the gods to bring Silverstream, the lost filly, home. Silverstream had been stolen from her home 9 years ago by a diabolical solar empire with the outbreak of the Equestrian Civil War, and each year, the entire Sea Pony and Hippogriff Kingdom prayed for her safe return. Attending the ceremony was Silverstream's older brother Terramar, son of Oceanflow and Skybeak. Terramar missed his little sister a lot and attended the festival every year, even though he knew that by year 7 that Silverstream wasn't coming back. She was probably dead, killed by the Empire. But still, Terramar went despite that. He desperately hoped that he was wrong, that Silverstream was still alive, and that she was returning home. Today, on the 9th festival, he would finally get his answer. Every griff gathered at the town square of the village on Mount Eris. The sacrifice to the gods was to be made on harmonizing heights, and everyone brought their prized possessions to sacrifice to the hearth. Terramar's parents had to force him against his will to sacrifice his possessions, and all his pictures of his little sister, as he valued those the most out of all his stuff. He was sad, but he didn't have a choice. As the family gathered with everyone else at the town village square, Queen Novo flew towards the front and gave her speech. My subjects, dear friends, fellow hippogriffs, and sea ponies. Today marks our 9th Festival of Hope in honor of our lost child, Silverstream, who was kidnapped from this kingdom by order of the evil Empress Celestia. The war is over, and the new Lunar Republic won the war and reorganized the shattered halves of the land, but Silverstream has still not come back to us. We must hope through these sacrifices that our precious filly still lives and will return. On this day, we light the hearth and give our offerings to Hasbro to return our lost filly. General Seaspray and other guards took a match and lit the hearth, creating an orange spot of fire that soon grew bigger until it encompassed the whole plinth. Queen Novo started off first by sacrificing Shelly and Sheldon, two seashells that formerly belonged to Princess Skystar before she died of liver cancer 5 years ago. Novo shed a few tears, as those were one of her last memories of Skystar, besides the 400 other shells the Crown Princess had collected in her life. As the shells burned to ashes, the hippogriffs each sacrificed their prized belongings one by one, each burning their things in single file. Finally, it was Terramar's turn. He had no choice. He had to do this. He whispered to the pictures, "Goodbye, little sis," before reaching out towards the hearth to... Suddenly, a bright flash of light sent everyone stumbling back. And the transmission operator said, "Incoming transmission from Luna." Then the holographic image of Princess Luna appeared and said, "This is Princess Luna of the United Lunar Republic of Equestria. Silverstream is alive. Bring over Oceanflow, Skybeak, and Terramar and Queen Novo immediately." The transmission then shut off. Everyone stared in silence in several moments before they all cheered, erupting into applause, chanting, "Silverstream lives!" Queen Novo had the biggest smile anyone had ever seen her have. "My niece is still alive. Hasbro has heard our prayers. My sister's okay!" Terramar exclaimed, feeling the most joy he ever had, embracing his parents, who hugged back as every griff took to the sky, singing in harmony. "Your Highness," General Seaspray said, "Luna has called you, Terramar, Skybeak, and Oceanflow to Equestria. You must leave at once." Queen Novo nodded, ordering the family to follow her. All four of them flew off the ground towards Equestria. Chapter 10. Reunion/Family Troubles as Formulating a Plan. Ocellus and Princess Luna met up with Queen Novo and Silverstream's family as they touched down in front of the Lunar Court Senate building. Then they hurried to Koziglo's house where they found the door unlocked. Ocellus went inside and smashed the basement door open with a hammer. She found Silverstream chained up in the basement again and managed to unchain her. She and Silver then went upstairs and outside, where Silverstream stood face to face with her real family. At first, no words were said. Then Silverstream looked at her younger brother and seemed to recognize him. "Terramar? Is that you?" Terramar grinned and the two siblings hugged each other, followed by Oceanflow and Skybeak, as well as Queen Novo, joining in for a family hug. It warmed Ocellus' heart to see Silverstream reunited with their lost family, all shedding tears of joy. Silverstream looked happy and relieved as she hugged her parents, brother, and aunt. It was all very beautiful. "It's really you," Queen Novo said, tears of happiness streaming down her face. "My niece is alive. The mighty Hasbro has heard our prayers." "How have you been doing all this time, sweetie?" Oceanflow asked her daughter. We got a lot of catching up to do," Skybeak realized. "Think of all those lost years we could have been spending time as a family." "Well, lost years don't matter anymore. We're going home. Come, Silver, a welcome home party is waiting for you down in the village back at Mount Eris." Skybeak prepared to fly off when Silverstream shook her head. "I can't." "Huh?" Everyone was shocked. "Why not?" Terramar asked. "We're taking you back home." Silverstream faced them. I have a home now. Here, I have a family here. Or I did, until he got arrested for something he didn't do." "What are you saying, Silver?" Queen Novo asked her. "I had an adoptive father," Silverstream explained. "His name is Hawk. He took really good care of me, tried to help me get over my trauma from slavery, but as soon as he won the presidency," she took a deep breath to stop herself from trailing off each time, "he was accused of colluding with a communist nation and was arrested. Koziglo, my other classmate, was one of the conspirators, and she and two others accused him just so they can get her hooves on me, and..." She trailed off again, tears leaking from her face. "Silver," Ocellus prompted her, knowing this was a hard topic for Silverstream to describe. "It enslaved me." Silverstream finished, causing everyone to gasp. "So you escaped slavery only to wind up back in slavery?" Skybeak asked her. She nodded. "Well, that sounds like a horror story within a failed fairy tale with an ironic twist. In other words, not good." "We gotta do something," Terramar said. We have to free her. There's no telling what messing with the Equestrian legal system can do. Renova replied. For all we know, Cozy Glow and her family could have been appointed her legal guardians by now. Then we sue for custody, Theramar suggested. All eyes were pointed to him. Excuse me, what? Ocellus asked. We sue for custody, Theramar explained. It all makes sense, right? You sue Cozy Glow and her family, and if we win, we take Silverstream with us. There's one problem, though, Oceanflow told her son. Silverstream doesn't want to go with us. She wants her former guardian Hawk. But why? Theramar demanded, coming towards Silverstream. Why would you choose here over your real home? I'm your family too, aren't I? Theramar, don't yell at her! Ocellus told her she's scared easily. Silverstream backed away, her eyes wide in fear. Ocellus could see her trembling all over. Silver whimpered, and Theramar backed off, knowing he made a mistake by yelling at his lost sister. I'm sorry, Silverstream said, her voice choked with tears. Silverstream, I'm so sorry. Theramar apologized to her. I had no idea? Skybeak reprimanded. Well, you should have. That's what slavery can do to you. Cozy Glow's been gone a long time, Ocellus noticed. I expected she would be back by now. Good, Silverstream whispered, her voice barely audible. I don't need any more torture. I understand, Ocellus said, putting her hoof around Silverstream, causing her to flinch. I understand. Then Theramar seemed to be in thought, and he said, Why don't you have your family adopt her? You practically act like her mother. Ocellus shook her head. I can't, Theramar. I already have an older brother and a little sister, as it is, plus a little brother. The family's full, unfortunately. It would be too much stress on my parents. Then I guess it's either a custody battle or a school shooting, Theramar replied. I heard that's a great way to vent out your frustrations. Plus you can kill Cozy Glow with one swift shot to the head. We'll vote on it, Queenovo said. Show of hooves and our claws. School shooting or lawsuit? Everyone agreed on doing a lawsuit, including Silverstream. Okay, Theramar told everyone. Since Silverstream insists on staying here instead of going home, it's obvious she wants Hawk. But there's a problem. He's in prison, so what exactly do we do? Ocellus thought about this. She had to make a decision that would either save her friend or hurt her more. Then, Ocellus took a deep breath. We have to find some way to not only free Silverstream in court, but to prove Hawk's innocence as well. Everyone thought about this, murmuring amongst one another. Princess Luna, who had been quiet the whole time, suddenly spoke up and said, That is possible, although we have no one to represent Silverstream in court because all other lawyers are busy doing their cases, so we have no, I will be her lawyer. Ocellus cut in, causing everyone to say, What? Ocellus, you cannot, Princess Luna said. You are underage and do not have a law degree. I cannot allow it, but I will. Ocellus spoke firmly. Inside her brain was saying, Ocellus, what the heck are you doing? Silverstream is my best friend, and I care about her more than anything. I don't want to take this job without your permission, but I will. It's what friends do for each other. Ocellus, Princess Luna warned her, Amber Sky would have done the same for you. Ocellus stated, catching Princess Luna off guard. Amber Sky, not Amber Rays, it's different Ambers. Amber Sky was a young Pegasus recruit in the Lunar Republican Army during the Equestrian Civil War who was sent on a spy mission to the Solar Empire and never came back. It was later revealed that Sky had been captured and indoctrinated, forced to serve the Empire. After the war ended, Amber Sky fled to parts unknown, feeling like she didn't belong anywhere. No one ever saw her again. Silverstream had met Sky one time when she was still a slave to the Empire. The two had become acquaintances, and Silver had shared the story with Ocellus one time at school. That was how she knew. Princess Luna and Sky had also shared a friendship during Sky's training for the army before the fateful mission. How do you know about Amber Sky? I never told anyone, Princess Luna inquired skeptically. Silverstream knew, Ocellus said. Silverstream, can you share your story with Princess Luna? Taking that as an order, Silverstream nodded. I met her back when I was a slave to Empress Celestia. She was working as an Imperial Guard, and we met one time when I was... She tried to recall. Finally, she did. When I was working on building a statue of Celestia. She complimented me on my hard work, saying that no pony could ever get Mistress's nose right. At first, Princess Luna stifled laughter. Silverstream continued. We struck up a conversation. She sympathized with what I was going through, and she told me her secret backstory she had been forced to hide, involving her training in the Republic. We shared a lot of things. One night, she tried to help me escape and get back home to Mount Harris. We escaped the yards, and she took me to the train station. But before we can get to the train, Mistress and her guards found us, and Amber was forced to reveal everything to save her reputation. She got us scot-free while I slept outside and in the cold after returning to the castle. Princess Luna looked sad. I'm glad you met her. She was a great and promising young mare. No creature knows if she's still alive. After the war, reports were given that she fled Canterlot and never returned, feeling like she didn't belong anywhere. Ocellus understood. She said, Amber would have defended you if she had not been captured. She would have stuck by you until the end, and fight for you until your very last breath. Amber, that's precisely what I'm trying to do for Silverstream. I'm trying to be there for her whenever she needs me. Now she does. If no lawyer is stepping up to my friend's case, then I will. Princess Luna nodded. Thank you for reminding me of Amber. She was so determined and loyal. That does sound like something she would have done. I see none of that determination and loyalty left her when she tried to help Silverstream escape, even if she confessed everything to save herself. Alright, this is an impossible and crazy idea, but you can be her attorney if you really want to. But be warned, being a lawyer isn't easy. It requires extensive training in law school. You are taking a huge risk by doing this with no experience. I know, Ocellus replied, but it's a risk I am willing to take. Chapter 12. Talking with the school trio / training / practicing empathy. Ocellus knew she needed more than just herself if she was going to not only save Silverstream, but clear Hawk's name too. So the next day, she tried to get help from her classmates. She put the first part of her plan into action when she saw 3 of her classmates, Citrine Spark, Berry Bliss, and Patty Peppermint, chatting with one another while walking. Ocellus normally wouldn't ask these 3, who were known as the school trio, as they were too chatty and rarely took anything seriously. She didn't really like them, but she had no choice. They were the closest to where she was standing, and Citrine Spark's father was a lawyer. Maybe his daughter knew something. Hey, girls! Ocellus called all over to them. The school trio didn't seem to hear her. They just kept on walking and chatting. Ocellus face hoofed and ran over towards them. Hey! Ocellus called again. The school trio stopped. All 3 ponies turned towards her. Citrine Spark saw her and said, Oh, hi, Ocellus! I was just telling my friends here how I met this stallion. He really likes me, or at least I think he likes me. I like him anyway, and She cleared her throat. Sorry, definitely off topic. You were saying? Ocellus sighed. This was gonna be hard. She said, Citrine, your father is a lawyer, right? Last I checked, yep. Citrine Spark confirmed. Best lawyer in Philadelphia. I can't believe he has to go so far to work. I mean, really. But yeah, he's a lawyer. The best lawyer in... I know, you said that. Ocellus interrupted her. But, has he taught you anything? Citrine Spark nodded. Oh yeah, I want to be just like him when I graduate. So he's taught me something, such as... Did you know that the opposing witness is more likely to throw you off than you try to do to him or her? Crazy, right? He also taught me that cases are usually won in facts, not in arguments. Arguments are crucial as you have to know your case and bias, but the judge and jury will always look for solid evidence to back up your claims. The outcome of the trial will depend on which side the jury seems more credible. She turned back towards her friend. So anyway, I was saying, this stallion's got a blue mane like me. I repeat, a blue mane. Gorgeous, and... wait. Ocellus said, I'm not done with you yet. Can I please come over to your house? I'd like to meet your father. You mean like today? Citrine Spark asked her. When Ocellus nodded, she said, Well, okay. I suppose you want to meet the big guy himself. You want formal training, don't you? Yes, I do, Ocellus replied. Well, you're in luck, Citrine Spark said. Yeah, but you gotta be all ears, all eyes. My dad is definitely not the type to repeat himself. You want to become a lawyer so you can represent your friend and exonerate the former president, correct? Atticus barked. Citrine Spark's father asked her when they were in the kitchen of Citrine's house. Ocellus nodded. I volunteered to do this job. Tons are counting on me, sir. I can't let my friend down. I understand, said Atticus. I will train you to become a great lawyer on behalf of my daughter's wishes. but you must listen closely, because I'm not going to say my advice once. I'm not going to say my advice once. That was an error. Because that was an error. It says I'm only going to say my advice once. Sorry. A lot of errors on this. Ocellus said that she was ready. For the next few weeks, Atticus trained Ocellus on how to be a great lawyer. Ocellus listened attentively, taking notes on important concepts and practicing them on her own downtime. Every day after school, instead of going to her dormitory, she would go to Citrine's house, and Atticus would teach her more and more. The best way to address a judge and jury in your opening statement, Atticus told her, is to start with, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen to the jury, opposing counsel, then say your name and tell them what your purpose is. That's how I do it. And remember, the most important thing you need to know is, you never really understand a creature until you consider things from its point of view, so you can climb in its skin and walk around in it. Ocellus took that advice to heart, and studied on how to apply that concept. Using that lesson of empathy, she was able to amend past grudges with classmates as she learned to understand them. She hung out with Citrine Spark, Patty Peppermint, and Barry Bliss more, and gradually warmed up to them and their odd ways of chatty gossiping. She soon didn't find them quite as annoying to her anymore. One time, she found Gallus and Slaughter ditching class and up to their usual troublemaker antics. She was about to chew them out for inconveniencing the teachers and stuff like she usually did. But she remembered what Atticus said and tried to understand their motivations first. She instead talked to her two mischievous friends and asked them why they did what they did. As a result, she learned a lot about why Gallus and Slaughter ditched class. Turns out, they were just creatures bored in class who wanted to have a little mischief in their lives. And what better way to do that than causing a ruckus at school? Also, she learned about Gallus's tragic upbringing in Griffinstone as an orphan before he came to the school, and that resulted in her empathizing and sympathizing with him more. Word spread around that Ocellus was empathizing with known troublemakers and was trying to understand the motivations of delinquents. Consequently, some uptight, rule-following ponies avoided her when she passed by, fearing that she might cause a bad influence, but she knew better. Gradually, the lessons she learned helped to improve conditions at the school. Another time, she found a young student named Rainbow Harmony being picked on by two bullies because of her mane, which they labeled gay. Ocellus stepped between them and explained to the bullies about how what they were doing was wrong, and that instead of picking on Rainbow Harmony for how she looked, why not try to understand why she was that way? The bullies, utterly broken by logic, felt ashamed of themselves and asked Rainbow Harmony if she would like to hang out with them later as a way of starting over. The filly agreed, and the three ponies walked off towards class together. As a result of Ocellus teaching empathy to her classmates, more ponies ended up gravitating towards her by May 15, 2021. There was only one thing left to do. She found Citrine Spark hanging out alone by a tree out in the buckball court. Citrine's eyes looked red from crying. "What's wrong?" Ocellus asked her unicorn friend. Citrine got up and turned towards her. "Oh, huh? Oh, it's you, Ocellus. What are you doing here? Just leave me alone." "What happened?" Ocellus inquired gently. Citrine Spark sniffled, and fresh tears were starting to come down her face. "I failed the math exam that I spent so hard studying for. I made the stupidest mistake any pony could ever do on a math test as one of those errors." Ocellus came beside her and sat down, Citrine following. Ocellus gently prompted her the same way she would do for Silverstream. "Tell me." "The word problem," Citrine explained. "It clearly mandated that you need to take the cube root of 420 and multiply it by 100% to get the initial answer, and write your answer out as a complete sentence." "And did you?" asked Ocellus. "I did the sentence part alright, but you know what I did?" Citrine asked her. Ocellus listened closely as Citrine revealed. "I did the square root on the calculator instead of the cube root. The lunar trash square root, for pony's sake. I had no idea at first, but when I got the test back, I looked at the problem and it turns out that the wrong answer messed up several other questions that were part B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, and I. Each question had to do with part A, and I messed up part A. My dad's gonna be so mad at me. What will I tell him? The truth," Ocellus stated. When Citrine opened her mouth to object, Ocellus interrupted her. "Citrine, your father will understand. He will. I talked with him during training. He understands that you try very hard in school, that he aimed to make him proud of you. And he already is. More than you will ever know. I'm sure everyone makes their occasional cube root, square root mistakes from time to time. You never did." Citrine Spark pointed out. "Oh, yes, I did." Ocellus said, recounting the first time she made such a blunder, which was in the beginning of freshman year, in which she confused the symbol of square root for the symbol of cube root because they looked kind of similar. The only difference was that a root for any number except the number 2 had a number on the top corner of the root symbol. That was not fun, but don't be afraid of telling him, alright? You know what? If it decreases your stress afterwards, I will do it. I will tell him what you did so you don't have to. Does that sound okay? Citrine Spark wiped her tears and nodded. Thank you, Ocellus. I needed that, really. You're welcome, Ocellus replied. Alright, let's get to class. School's probably gonna end in approximately... The bell rang, and everyone filed out of the main building toward the students' quarters. Right about now, Ocellus finished. It's alright, I can catch up on any missing assignments pretty easy. Now, let's go home so I can do more training. Trial's gonna be in the summer, so I hear. Citrine got to her hooves and followed Ocellus off campus and towards the main industrial streets of Canterlot. On that day, the last remnants of any distaste Ocellus might have had towards Citrine and a group of fellow gossipy teenagers ended right there. Citrine trusted her, and Ocellus trusted her back. They were undoubtedly now friends. She could see it. She would be looking forward to telling Atticus about her practice of empathy with his daughter. Back in the kitchen of the house. So, you mean to tell me that you did a square root instead of a cube root? Atticus asked his daughter in a questioning manner. Trembling all over, Citrine nodded. Please don't be mad at her, sir, Ocellus told Atticus. She did her best, and she studied hard for it, too. We all make our occasional cube root square root. We make mistakes in life, don't we? We shouldn't judge her based on what her results were. Rather, we should judge based on the fact she tried her hardest and aimed to make you proud of her. I have to admit that I could have easily made that same mistake on the test if I didn't double-check my answers in my head. Atticus glanced at her and nodded approvingly. That is a very important lesson. I see you have been paying attention. He faced his daughter. Citrine, Ocellus has brought up a good point. I should not judge you based on the results, but rather the fact you gave it your all. I'm proud of you despite the F grade. Honestly, I had no idea that Part A would affect so many questions. He chuckled to himself. The nerve of those math teachers. You're not mad? Citrine asked carefully. No, I can't be, Atticus told her warmly. What I should really be mad about is, why they make cube root and square root so similar in the calculator? I mean, seriously, the only difference you put is an X, and even the whole symbol is hardly visible? Jeez. Both he and his daughter laughed over this. It's better if you write it out, but even then, you need that tiny computer. Oh boy, our era is getting more and more complicated and complex by the minute. Alright, Citrine, go. Today, I will finish Ocellus' training. Wait, finish? Ocellus asked. I thought I needed a whole year. It's only been about 5 months. Atticus smiled. I honestly have nothing more to teach you. This is just review. The key to being a great lawyer is dealing in facts, and most importantly, practicing empathy. And over the course of these 5 months, with all the sweeping changes you've brought at your school because you applied the concept of empathy, you have not only shown that you understand it, but you can apply it in an effective manner that betters society. I couldn't have been more proud as a mentor. Congratulations, Citrine Spark said quietly, although no one saw her nor heard her, as she was hiding behind a table, silently eavesdropping on the conversation. Ocellus felt tears of happiness come to her eyes as she hugged him. And I'm proud to have been your student. The hug lasted about 30 seconds before they let go of each other. Alright, Atticus told her, let's review. What is the most important lesson of empathy you can apply in order to truly understand some creature's intentions? To consider things from his point of view, to climb in his skin and walk around it. Ocellus answered correctly. Atticus nodded in confirmation that her answer was correct. Very good. 1 second. Chapter 13. Ocellus meets up with her client. The next day was Friday, the last day of school before the weekend. Ocellus got caught up on the assignments that she missed while comforting Citrine Spark, and then came over to Cozy Glow's house and knocked on the door. May I come in? Ocellus asked in the professional voice that she learned. Cozy Glow opened the door. No. Silverstream isn't here, so you can't. Ocellus was confused. Wait, not here? I thought you chained her up and gagged her in the basement every day. I do. The authorities arrived and took her away, Cozy Glow said tiredly. She's at a hotel in Ponyville right now with her real family. You won't find her here. Where's Fen Gallop and Surrey Palomare? Ocellus asked. They haven't shown their faces in this fanfiction since chapter 5. They're around, Kozuko explained. Don't you worry, Miss Lawyer. They'll appear in court when the trial comes. You'll probably see them then. Ocellus nodded and said goodbye, and let Kozuko slam the door in her face. She then took the train to Ponyville. She went to the Eclipse Moon Hotel and Spa, where it was confirmed by the check-in mare that Silverstream was staying in the hotel with their real family. She took the elevator to the 4th floor and found the room 222. She knocked on the door and asked, May I come in that same professional voice. The door opened and Silverstream was at it. She gasped excitedly and pulled Ocellus inside, the door closing behind them. Where were you? Silverstream asked. You never came to visit me, and I assumed that you stopped caring. Silverstream, I'll never stop caring for you, Ocellus told her reassuringly. But it must have been scary when the authorities showed up, wasn't it? Princess Luna gave the emergency order to have me temporarily removed from Kozuko's custody, Silverstream explained. Mom and Dad, as well as Terramar and Aunt Novo, rented this hotel room to stay for the months pending the trial. They're staying for it. That's good, Ocellus replied. As for where I was, I spent 5 months getting professional teaching on how to be a great lawyer. Citrine Spark's father taught me, and now I've graduated. I'm taking your case, and I'm prepared for it now. You two are friends now? Silverstream inquired. I thought she was more of the word failed her. The gossipy, chatty type? Ocellus asked. Silverstream nodded. Well, it's complicated, Silverstream, really. I never really expected we would become friends, but we did. All I had to do was apply the lessons of empathy I learned from Citrine's father, and things are a lot better now. More ponies want to be my friend, and I finally understand Gallus and Smolder's motivations to be juvenile delinquents, and bullying at the school is pretty much gone. That's so cool, Silverstream commented. You did all that? Yes, I did, Ocellus answered, and now I've made the unlikeliest of friends. When we win, Silver, and you go back to school, you won't even recognize it. But I'm curious. Where are Queen Novo, Terramar, your mother and father, anyway? At the spa, Silverstream said, smiling. Terramar sent me the text. He's totally swimming hard in the jacuzzi. She got out her phone and showed Ocellus the text that had a video of Terramar in sea pony form swimming around happily attached to it. Ocellus laughed. Swimming around in there while the bubbles enter. Boy, am I jealous right now. I take it Queen Novo's taken to the big pool? Silverstream nodded. It's more of her thing. Well, I'm glad to see you're feeling better, Ocellus said. Your flow of speech is improving too. I take it being away from Cozy Glow and Slave Owner did you some good? And Silverstream nodded again. Being with my real family and catching up with them made me feel a lot better. So many things we haven't done yet. Terramar and I are trying to have the brother-sister relationship we missed out on, and I believe it's working. I'm bonding with my family more as time goes on. Can we fit 8 whole years into 5 months? I have no clue. But we're trying, that's for sure. They talked about for several more minutes before the door opened again, and Queen Novo entered with Terramar and he and Silverstream's mother and father. Whoa, wait! Queen Novo exclaimed. Now that was sure fun. I gotta get out of Equestrian more often and see what the smaller bodies of water have to offer. Oh, hello, Ocellus. Back from lawyer training, I presume? Ocellus nodded. Queen Novo, I'm ready to take your niece's case. I believe that now we stand a good chance of winning with all the lessons I learned and applied, but I don't want us to get too overconfident. There's a chance we might not win. A small chance, but a chance nonetheless. We must be prepared for it. You have to win the case for Silverstream. Terramar pressured her. She needs that bad pony stallion taking care of her more than anything. There's a good chance we'll win, Terramar, Ocellus assured him, but just in case we don't, I hope y'all all have a backup plan, because I don't want her going back to Cozy Glow's custody. We'll file for legal adoption, Oceanflow said. That way we can take her home and she doesn't have to be tortured by that rotten filly. Good, Ocellus replied. I just wanted to know because I don't want Silverstream getting hurt again. She won't, Queen Novo reassured her. You're going to that courthouse and you're going to win it. You have it in you. Just remember everything that pony's father taught you, and you'll be fine. Chapter 14. The Villain Meeting. It was now June 21st, 2021, just 1 month before the trial would begin. on July 21st. Koziglo, the chief conspirator, daughter of the president, self-proclaimed Empress of Friendship, and slave owner of Silverstream, paced the floor of the family room, wondering when her fellow conspirators would arrive. Already, sweeping changes had been brought to the school, and Koziglo couldn't rally in any of her classmates to be witnesses, so that was a major setback. Plus, the mysterious night guard, secret federal police answering only to Princess Luna, had arrived and removed Silverstream from her custody. Silverstream went with the guards willingly after they told her that she was being taken to the local hotel Queen Nova was staying at, and not to the federal prison. The federal prison was the top, most secure, most brutal prison facility in Equestria, and everyone feared it. Cozy feared that if she lost the trial, she would be going there. Finally, after an eternity of waiting, Koziglo gave up and decided to tell those bumbling idiots via text message, forget it. But before she could get out her phone, there was a knock on the front door. She opened it, and there's Sven Gallop and Sorry Polymer. Surprise! Sven Gallop said, sorry we took so long. Boy, we haven't been seen since chapter 5 of this fanfiction, and yeah, I'm in no mood for forced wall breaks. Koziglo told him harshly, both of you, get in here! Two villains hurried inside, and Koziglo closed the door. They went over towards the dining room table and sat at it, first talking about their aspirations for when they won the trial.
Collaborate and trust in fate to parcel out the blame. There are ends we forgot that can justify the means. We negotiate and fabricate the facts behind the scenes, keeping all the details vague and secrets hidden, safe in the balance sheet of those you trust. Because history is a story told by the winners of the fight. You apply a little crucified, try a little sailor. Who's gonna question what goes on in the middle of the night? Not a tinker, not a smart room, a sadist or a jailer. So we all are agreed, let's be vigilant and wise. We must all pretend our naive friend was caught in his own lies. For our plan to succeed, we must share what one believes. Never Dante stays and ends his days inside the chateau teeth. Where the substance things he'll touch are stones and darkness, deep in a craggy island dungeon's key. Because history is a story told by the men who make the laws. We supply a little lie, the gullible supply a little fable. What will become of the righteous men who fashioned Dante's flaws? The rich and well-respected animal to be rejected at our table. I'll be a comfort in her time of grief and anguish. I'll be Mercedes, ever faithful acolyte every night. A part of me wishes Dantes didn't have to languish. But I can see it's him or me. Let him sit there and rot till he's forgotten. Let him roll! History is a story told by the people who survive. Let me sign it an initial. If it's true, if it's officially the story. What if the cost us one young man, so three more men can survive? He's surprised we have to quarrel and fight another day for love and glory. Standing in the way of friendship, justice, and ourselves. So goes the story. Stick to the story. Here ends the story.
Great, Koziglo said. We basically got our whole plan set up with that song. What we did was justified by the laws of nature, certainly. But what if we don't win this trial? On that note, we don't even have a lawyer, and that brat has one. Her meddlesome friend. I worked as a lawyer once, Sven Gallop said. I retired so I can work as a stage manager for my former pop star Countess Coloratura. But she betrayed me for her childhood friend 13 years ago, and all I've been doing since then was working as an engineer. Even after the conspiracy, I still had that job, so I could do it. But aren't all three of us being sued? Sorry, Polymer asked. How can you be a lawyer if you're the defendant? There's some misunderstanding. Koziglo explained. Sven Gallop isn't being sued along with me. Sorry, you're not being sued either. This caught both fellow conspirators off guard. Sven Gallop asked, wait, we're not? But weren't all three of us involved in the conspiracy? The other party doesn't know that, Kozlo pointed out. What this lawsuit is doing is suing me and my family, not you two. Of course, you two are both also guilty, but I'm the one who abused Silverstream and drove her to near suicide. She paused. You don't want to know about that day. During her days of being enslaved by Cozy Glow, Silverstream had once tried to take her own life in order to end her suffering by drinking a type of sauce considered to be lethal, one that was left in the kitchen. Cozy saw this and was able to resuscitate Silver by making her drink a lot of water. Silver felt nauseous after, but she lived. Cozy Glow punished her severely after that by attempting to commit suicide by locking her in a crate and making her stay there for a whole day. You what? Nothing you should be concerned about, Cozy Glow snapped, causing Silver to get her question immediately. Anyway, this trial's gonna be a big deal, Sven Gallop told them. This is not only a custody battle, this is a criminal trial as well. A combo trial. That's like never happened before, ever. Hawk is gonna be there, and Ocellus will not only be a defense attorney for Silverstream, she'll be a defense attorney for Hawk as well. And trust me, that's a big deal. Plus, the lawsuit is on a government level because your mother is the president, and she's being sued. Dictator or no, this is severely going to affect her reputation if she decides to run for re-election in 4 years. Then we'll just have to be prepared. Sven Gallop, I hereby appoint you as my harmonized lawyer. The fate of my own reputation and our social standing is at stake. Are we ready to take this in a month? I will need to go over my opening and closing statements as well as questions, Sven Gallop replied. You girls want to help me out? We'd be delighted to, Sherry Polymer said. Alright, I'll be the judge, and let's say you call up one of the defendants, Cozy Glow, up for questioning. What would you say? The two went over to the living room and acted out the trial according to how they thought it would go. Of course, the practice trial ended in Cozy Glow being found innocent and Silverstream being forced to live with her forever, but the conspirators knew that may not be the case. So they tried an alternate scenario in which Cozy Glow was found guilty and sentenced to life in the federal prison. Cozy had to admit she did a great job bawling and shouting as Judge Polymer gave the sentence, and even Sven Gallop felt bad for losing the case. Chapter 15. The night before the trial. It was the evening of July 20th, 2021, just one day before the trial would begin. Ocellus hurried to rehearse her opening and closing arguments, as well as questions in her bedroom at her house at the Changing Kingdom. When she tripped on a word, she cursed and repeated the phrase until she got it right. She was getting frustrated that she kept tripping on her words. That was when she realized she was rushing. She remembered one piece of advice Atticus had given her. Rushing your arguments will only succeed in making you stumble on your words. You must choose your words wisely. Remember that you are not doing this to save someone's time, you are doing this to save someone's life. Ocellus took a deep breath and began again, starting from the top. This time, she did not rush and chose words carefully. This time, her speech flowed smoother and made more sense. She then practiced some questions, and as she was doing this, someone knocked on her door. She opened it, and saw King Thorax enter. Thorax! Ocellus greeted. Nice to see you this evening. Thorax chuckled. Practicing your formal speech? Ocellus nodded. Well, I came in to see if you needed help. Obviously not getting very far asking nobody questions. Ocellus realized that it was pretty lonely without a practice partner. Will you help me, Thorax? Please? Certainly, the Changing King responded in a kind tone. Alright, let's say this is direct examination. You can ask me some questions, and I will see if I can answer them. I got a brief overview on the case file, so I should know what I'm talking about. Alright, Ocellus cleared her throat. One of my clients, former President Hawk of the Republic, has been accused of colluding with Russia. Can you testify to my client's innocence? Thorax nodded. The evidence given by the opposing party is 2 documents detailing a non-aggression pact and the selling of nuclear arms. However, there is a flaw with the documents. The opposition claims they are from the archives, but all archive documents have to have the seal of Princess Luna on them. These documents do not. So you are saying that Cozy Glow and her family forged said documents? Ocellus added on to her question. Yes, documents are clearly in the defendant's handwriting, and have neglected to put the seal of the Republic on them. Thorax answered. These documents cannot be legitimate as they lack the requirements for a government document in order to be so. The 2 changelings practiced for about 4 hours until Thorax told her it was time for bed. Ocellus nodded. Feeling satisfied, she practiced enough in order for the jury to deem the defense as prosecution case credible. She couldn't sleep for about an hour. but eventually she went into a deep slumber, dreaming about how happy Silverstream would be if they won the trial. She may be prepared, Cozy Glow said pridefully, but she's no match for our buddy Sven Yellop. Just try to beat her, lawyer Pipsqueak. Amber agreed. Or do you want to back out now? Ocellus wanted to argue that she was not a pipsqueak, but held her tongue as another piece of Atticus's advice came to her mind. It will only serve to prove the opposition right if you react to their goading. The best thing to do is hold your tongue and prove yourself the more dignified one. She looked up and spotted Queen Novo, Terramar, Oceanflow, and Skybeak on the balcony of the court. She also spotted Atticus, which surprised her. Didn't he have a case of his own to do? It didn't matter. She was going to make him proud. Well? Amber Rays taunted her. Ocellus lifted her chin in defiance, causing the whole court to gasp in awe and shock. From his position up on the balcony, Atticus gave her an approving nod. Cozy Glow looked embarrassed and said quickly, "You shouldn't be in awe of her. Stop those gasps right now." Actually, they should, someone said. It was Hawk, who was sitting next to Silverstream on the courtroom seats. Hawk looked kind of dirty, but that was to be expected after rotting in a filthy prison cell for several months. "Order in the court!" Spitfire ordered, banging her gavel so everyone quieted. "Everyone rise!" They did. "Sit down," commanded Spitfire. They did. "All right," Spitfire said. "So the two parties have brought their cases to this court. As you all may know, this is a combo trial, which means it is a civil trial and a criminal retrial, all meshed into one hearing. Ocellus represents the plaintiff Silverstream and the defendant Hawk, while Sangala represents two defendants, President Amber Rays and her daughter Cozy Glow. We will have a fair and impartial court case, so no personal bias is allowed unless it relates to the evidences and arguments presented. Understood?" Everyone murmured their agreement. "Any questions?" demanded Spitfire. No one had any questions. They all understood what was at stake. "Now," Spitfire said, "you may say your opening statement, Ocellus. Take all the time you need, or not, who cares?" Ocellus looked at Atticus, then at Silverstream, then at the jury, took a deep breath and began. "Your Honor, fillies and gentlecoats of the jury, opposing counsel, my name is Ocellus, student at Princess Luna's School for Gifted Students, representing my client Hawk and Silverstream in this hearing. Silverstream is a very good friend of mine, but she has had a tragic upbringing. She suffered from 8 years of hardship and slavery to the Solar Empire. Empress Celestia broke her until she was afraid of her own shadow, afraid of everything and everyone. But that all changed when Hawk, an army general at the time, arrived and rescued Silverstream from slavery. He raised her to become the wonderful, kind, sweet, and compassionate hippogriff she is. But now that peaceful life she had is being threatened. Cozy Glow and 2 other conspirators viewed Silverstream's life as an undeserved privilege and sought to make her suffer. They framed Hawk for colluding with General Secretary Rick Lyaskov's new USSR. They accused him of being a communist sympathizer, but he's not. Cozy Glow's mother then usurped the presidency and brought socialism into this country, an ideology that is letting our country's economy slip down the drain. The evidence will show beyond a reasonable doubt that Cozy Glow, her mother, and the conspirators deliberately set up Hawk to enslave Silverstream, who has gathered up the courage to bring this case to you. I look forward to presenting the evidence to you. Thank you. Everyone was in shock. Ocellus had delivered a powerful opening statement that rocked the jurors, who all looked at each other, all sharing a silent feeling of sympathy for what Silverstream went through. Even Sven Gallop looked daunted. There was no way he could appeal to the jury like Ocellus did. Spitfire tried not to look like she was crying, but she kinda was in reality. She hurriedly wiped her tears and said in an authoritative manner, "Very good. Sven Gallop, you're next." Sven Gallop shot a haughty look at Ocellus, and then looked at the jury and said, "Your Honor, so ladies and gentlemen to the jury, opposing counsel, I am Sven Gallop, top of the line business style representing my innocent clients, Cozy Glow and Amber Rays in this trial. What you all don't seem to realize is that Ocellus, an underage student unfit to have a law degree, is defending a communist sympathizer and spatially inferior creature. We have always known that ponies are the superior species and have the right to reduce inferior species to enslavement for their own benefit. That was always the law, and I am here to uphold it. Meanwhile, this changeling, an inferior species, is attempting to subvert the law and the government by trying to imply that other species are equal to ponies. That is the communist argument. Other species are naturally inferior to us. They were born that way. The evidence will show that this little brat is trying to subvert the law and government just by her presence in this courtroom. Thank you." "Objection, Your Honor," Ocellus suddenly said after Sven Gallop was done. Atticus shot her a cautionary look, but she didn't see it. "Sven Gallop is trying to use racial slurs and name-calling in the courtroom. He is also using an outdated law. With the victory of the new Lunar Republic in the Equestrian Civil War, the law mandating a species hierarchy was abolished by Princess Luna during a constitutional convention on June 2nd, 2019, with the establishment of this nation." Spitfire nodded. "Objection taken. You are correct, Ocellus. Sven Gallop, racial slurs and name-calling, less to be factual and up-to-date, will not be tolerated in this courtroom. The law mandating a species hierarchy was indeed, and in fact, abolished by the princess after the war. You cannot use that law as it no longer exists. Sit back down." Sven Gallop shot a death glare at Ocellus, and reluctantly sat back down on the benches. It was then time to call up witnesses for direct examination. Ocellus chose her first witness to be one of her clients, Hawk. As Hawk came up to the stand, another stallion asked him, Hawk, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me Luna?" Hawk nodded. "Yes, I do." He put his hoof on Princess Luna's official book, The Lunar Manifesto, The Ideology and Conception of Luna Land. Communist Manifesto ripoff. Ocellus began her direct examination with her first question. "Hawk, can you tell everyone here your side of the story?" Everyone paid close attention. Hawk looked at Silverstream, who smiled encouragingly. Hawk then described his side of the whole fiasco. "I was just a colt when I volunteered to join the Lunar Republican Army, but I was always committed to Princess Luna's cause. I always believe, and still do believe, in Luna's ideals of equality and freedom. My parents were killed in one of the battles of Canterlot, the one in which Princess Twilight Sparkle fled into self-imposed exile and never returned. We managed to capture a portion of Canterlot before the Imperials drove us out, but I vowed I would see their deaths avenged. 3 years later, and victory was brought to the Republic. Luna won, and the next election began. I assure you all, I have no connection to Soviet Russia. My campaign for the presidency was also I can improve the lives of all citizens. Make no mistake, the Republic is a functioning regime as it is, but even now, it is still recovering from the war. Not everything is perfect, but Amber Ray's administration borders on communism as the economy is tanking and she has taken power from the Senate to give to herself. If that does not sound like dictatorship, I don't know what does. My only purpose is to provide for all the citizens, just as I provided for my precious daughter Silverstream. He smiled at her, she smiled back, warming everyone's heart as everyone went, "Aww." Hawk continued, I know there were some who didn't like what I did, and that is to be expected. Part of a functional democracy is allowing for organized opposition to the party that won the election. But I was set up. There is a difference between peaceful opposition and organized conspiracy. Cozy Glow and her friends and family have manipulated the system to benefit their agenda. As a stallion who loves this country as much as you all do, I don't want it to collapse like Empress Celestia predicted it would long ago. I don't want to see creatures' free speech and expression tampered with, all to fit a selfish agenda. I ask you to look into your hearts and find any patriotism that lingers within you, and realize that I only wanted what was best for this country. Thank you for listening. Once again, everyone was moved. Ponies looked at one another and all shared a silent agreement that Hawk was right. Ocellus asked another question. Thank you, Hawk. One of the charges you were arrested for said you ripped up government documents. What do you say to that? Those were not government documents, Hawk stated, a hint of contained anger in his voice. Those were forgeries. Not only did they not have a government seal on them that marks them as government documents, but they were in Sven Gallop's handwriting. That is a lie! Sven Gallop snapped. He is mad. He lies, ponies! He lies! Silence, Sven Gallop! Spitfire commanded. Meekly, Sven Gallop complied and didn't say anything else. I have the documents, someone said. Ocellus turned. It was Citrine Spark coming up to her with the two documents, the pieces glued together almost seamlessly. How? Hawk began, honestly bewildered on how those pieces were recovered. Your Honor, if I may, Citrine addressed Spitfire respectfully. Go ahead, Spitfire told her. Ocellus? Citrine Spark told her friend. I don't know how I managed to do it in time, but I found all the pieces and glued them back together. And it took a week because I had to sort out which piece was which. It was really hard. Can we use this as evidence? I think so, Ocellus replied, but she was unsure because of the document's torn up states. Ocellus can use it, Spitfire said. Impressive art skills, by the way. Looks almost seamless except for the creases, noticeable tears, and dry glue marks. Now return to the balcony! Citrine took this as an order and hurried upstairs back to the balcony, surprised to find the seat next to her saved. Ocellus gave the documents to Hawk, and he showed those to the jury. He said, These are forgeries. I recognize a few of you jurors from the Canterlot Archives and the Star Swirl the Bearded Wing. You must be able to tell the difference. Normal government documents are printed on a special machine/typewriting computer and then given the seal of the Republic by Princess Luna herself. However, these are handwritten. Not only that, but the paper they were written in is on construction paper and not the special type of paper dipped into a special fluid to make it yellowish tan. Documents like the Constitution do not look like this. There is a huge difference. Ocellus took the documents back. Adding on to my client's point, if these were written by Premier Ladislav himself, then why isn't it written in Russian? Obviously that's their native language. Even their anthem is in Russian. But these are written in plain English. The jury gasped. One juror even said, She and Hawk are right. I've seen our Constitution myself. It looks nothing like those. Definitely forgeries. The other jurors murmured an agreement. Cozy Glow couldn't believe it. Her case was falling apart before it even began. How was Ocellus so good? Sven Gallop, you better have something big planned or we are all screwed, she thought with dread. After a few more questions, which Hawk answered in lengthy detail, it was cross-examination time. Sven Gallop was very aggressive in his questioning, throwing Hawk off guard. This made Ocellus worry, but midway to the questioning, Hawk regained his composure and caught on to Sven Gallop's method. As a result, Hawk turned the tables, his answers throwing Sven Gallop off guard, and consequently reducing him to a babbling buffoon who had to be interrupted by Spitfire. Imagine a opposing attorney being reduced to a babbling buffoon. Sven Gallop returned to his seat, muttering and grumbling. The next witness was called up, and the next, and the next. Unfortunately, the day was soon over, and the trial was not finished. The trial would go on the next day. Chapter 17, The Silverstream/Hawk Trial Day 2, the final day. The next day, everyone returned, and the trial resumed where it left off. The direct examinations and cross-examinations were brutal. Ocellus and Sven Gallop were practically competing for the jury's favor. But even though day 1 went in Ocellus' favor, the second day was different. Sven Gallop questioned all of Ocellus' witnesses and managed to break them. Soon it was the other way around. Ocellus questioned Sven Gallop's witnesses, and they knew exactly what to say. Silverstream had a worried look on her face, and Atticus looked at his daughter in disappointment. It seems I couldn't prepare Ocellus for Sven Gallop's brutality. Dad. Citrine's eyes watered with tears, and she cried, saying in a choked voice, Ocellus has to win. I know, honey. Atticus said, I know. I'll get the adoption papers. Oceanflow said, it's downstairs, by the carriage. Ocellus soon realized that the trial was lost. She had tried her best, but the conspirators were just too good. But just as she was about to give up hope, Spitfire said, Ocellus, wait. I'm offering you the opportunity to call one extra witness. What? Sven Gallop demanded. Ocellus looked up, swallowing her tears that were threatening to form. One extra witness? Yes. Spitfire told her, I don't do this often, but I can see you're very upset. This is your chance. Ocellus took a deep breath. She had to give it her all now, even if she was going to lose. Defense/prosecution called Citrine Spark to the stand. Citrine looked up, hearing her name called. She got up from her seat and went over to the stand, swearing to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help her Luna. Citrine, Ocellus said in her professional voice, do you have any evidence with you proving the conspirators' guilt? She was expecting a no, but surprisingly, Citrine said yes. Ocellus was surprised, but she asked her friend to testify. Well, Citrine Spark said, I have eavesdropped on one of their conversations once. My friends and I did. I posted it on Instagram. It's got like a gazillion hits. Really? Ocellus asked. Show us then. Citrine Spark got out her phone and opened the Instagram site, and it showed a time-lapse video of all the conspirators together, creating the documents and looking up on the internet secret Russian videos. In one part of the video, Story Polymer contacted Premier Lightningskov via transmission and asked for his aid. Everyone gasped in shock and horror. Cozy Glow knew at that moment the case was lost. The power of social media, Ocellus mused, smiling. Who knew? Citrine nodded. Too many ponies underestimate its power. My friends and I, including you, however, understand it. It turned out that Citrine Spark had stopped by Silverstream's house one time to deliver a package Derpy forgot to deliver, and saw the whole thing through the window. No further questions, Ocellus told her. She originally had planned more questions, but that video showed everything. Finally, it was time for closing arguments. Sven Gallop gave his closing argument first. Everyone, in closing, Ocellus has utterly failed to prove Hawk's innocence beyond a reasonable doubt. Her ludicrous claims that we colluded with Russia and not Hawk are absolutely outrageous. We are fighters for justice and represent the Aryan species that is ponies. We are strong. We can unite against these creatures that plan to destroy our country. Long live communism. Thank you. But then, he covered his mouth. He had exposed himself as a communist. Everyone stared at him in horror. He tried to cover it up. No, I didn't mean next, Spitfire ordered. Ocellus nodded and spoke. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen to the jury, opposing counsel, in conclusion, I'd like to say that the prosecution's defense utterly failed to prove Hawk's guilt and Silverstream's so-called special inferiority beyond reasonable doubt. The evidences given to you over the course of the 2 days of this trial have proven that Hawk is not, after all, responsible for the Russian collusion. The real criminals were responsible for inviting totalitarianism into this country are Cozy Glow, Amber Ray, Story Polymer, and Sven Gallop. They have cheated the legal system and forged documents, all to enslave my best friend Silverstream, who they deem inferior. They framed an innocent stallions for crimes he didn't do, and all he wanted was to better the country. This is what he gets for it, I see. But there is one way in this country in which all creatures are created equal. There is one equine institution that makes the pauper the equal to a rock of stupid creature, equal to star swollen bearded, and ignorant creature, equal of any college president. That institution, every creature, is a court. It can be the Lunar Court Senate of the Republic, or the highest GP court in the land, this honorable court in which you serve. Our courts have their faults, as does any equine institution. But in this country, our courts are the greatest levelers. In our courts, all creatures are created equal. I'm no idealist. I believe firmly in the integrity of our courts and the jury system. That is no ideal to me. It is a living, working reality. Every creature, a court is no better than each one of you sitting before me on this jury. A court is only sound as its jury, and a jury is only sound as the ponies who make it up. I am confident you ponies will review without passion the evidence you have heard, come to conclusion, and restore Hawk and Silverstream to their rightful places as father and daughter. In the name of Luna, do your duty. Believe Hawk and Silverstream. Thank you. Everyone cheered after her speech, and the jury was sent to deliberate. As the hours ticked by, Ocellus got nervous. What if the jury didn't listen? What if the case was still doomed? She saw Sungal glare at her, and chose to go give a look of absolute distaste. Ocellus took this time to talk with her friends and allies. The first creature she talked to was Atticus. Atticus shook his head, and Ocellus immediately thought she disappointed him. He seemed to guess what she was thinking and told her, "No, Ocellus, you haven't disappointed me, but you are taking a huge risk in pulling the objection. I told you about the dangers of reacting to goading. You did well at first, but then you took a huge gamble with that objection. What if Judge Spitfire overruled it? It would have made your case look bad." How could it be bad if Sven-Gallop was clearly using racial slurs and name-calling? Ocellus asked. That's not tolerated in the courts, right? No, it isn't, Atticus conceded. But then he added, but it is typically up to the judge to point it out himself or herself unless it is absolutely necessary for the lawyer to point it out. Don't get me wrong, I pulled the objection card in court quite frequently, because sometimes the opposing party does not follow courthouse rules. But I think before I act. Keep that in mind, Ocellus. You were very lucky Judge Spitfire ruled in your favor. Very lucky. Ocellus nodded, glad she didn't disappoint him. Terramar came up to her and asked, We've won, haven't we? I have no idea, Ocellus told him. The jury's been out for several hours and no one has left. I guess they all want to see it. But Terramar, don't get your hopes up. We might not win. Why? Terramar asked her. Because, Ocellus replied, I messed up on the last round. If it wasn't for the power of social media, the case would have been a bust. So the jury might think I'm a fool and rule in the conspirators' favor. Be prepared for that. But what matters is that you did your best, Hawk said, coming over, putting his hoof on her. If I have to go back to that awful island fortress, don't blame yourself. Silverstream will blame me, Ocellus answered. She loves you more than anyone in the world, and if you were to get reconvicted, she would never speak to me again. My Silverstream does not hold a grudge, Hawk stated firmly. You'd be surprised, Ocellus whispered. 2 more hours passed and still no jury. This got everyone curious as to what was taking so long. They take a long time, don't they? Gallus commented from the balcony. Sandbar shrugged. Yona said, Yeah, think Changeling win trial. Pony smart. Pony see bat pony innocent. I'm hoping that's the case, Smolder said, or else all this empathy nonsense will go to waste. Just then the jury came back. All 12 jurors filed in. The best way to predict the verdict before it was given is to look up at the jury. A jury never looks at a defendant that is convicted, and everyone looked at Hawk, which was a good sign. Has the jury reached a verdict? Spitfire asked. Yes, we have, said the leading juror mayor. 2 verdicts, actually. We hereby find the defendant Hawk not guilty of the charges he was accused of. On the opposite side, we find the defendants Kozigo Amberes and their lawyer Sun Gallop and their accomplice Suri Polymer all guilty of the charges they were sued on. Spitfire nodded. The court is adjourned. Time to get back to my office at the Senate. Chapter 18. How Empathy Changes School, /arriving/parting ways. Everyone cheered and applauded as the verdict was televised on screen. They were all supporting Ocellus' effort. None supported the conspirators, especially after Ocellus detailed what Silverstream went through in her opening statement. So when they heard that Ocellus won the trial, everyone gave a standing ovation. The conspirators were given different fates. Spitfire was very clever in her sentencing. She forced Amber Reyes to abdicate the presidency and live out the rest of her life as a poor vendor in Klugetown. She demoted Surrey Palmer to an after-hours janitor at the Senate. And she sentenced Sengal to life in the Chateau d'If Island prison. And finally, Cozy got the death penalty by electrocution. With Amber Reyes out of the picture, the ponies unanimously re-elected Hawk to the Oval Office, and Spitfire restored the custody rights of Silverstream to him, much to Silver's elation. Silverstream returned to school, where she found that everything seemed to be much better than what was before. Ocellus had been right. A lot had changed. One time, as she was walking in the hallway, she saw the two infamous bullies, Pin Needle and Buck Withers, hanging out with Rainbow Harmony, a filly they tended to pick on frequently, instead of bullying her. When she asked what the change was for, Pin Needle told her, "All we had to do was practice a little empathy. Turns out, this filly is even cooler than we thought she'd be." "Never thought she'd share my interest in buckball," commented Buck Withers, who did a pro with Rainbow Harmony. Things were changing with Ocellus as well, too. She hung out with Citrine Smart, Berry Bliss, and Patty Peppermint now, the ponies she formerly didn't like because of their gossipy, chatty ways. Now, she actually found the topics the trio discussed kind of interesting. "Did you know that water has memory?" Citrine Smart asked. "It's a fact disputed by many, but it's true." "Really?" Ocellus inquired, shocked at that fact. "I had no idea." Yeah, Barry Bliss said. "Apparently it's the perpetrated ability of water to retain the memory of substances previously dissolved in it. Cool, right?" "Also," Patty Peppermint added, "I read somewhere that advancing technology is both our savior and our doom. I have no idea what that means, but I guess we'll have evil flying robots controlling our lives in the future in a post-apocalyptic dystopian society." "Oh dear," Ocellus commented, smiling while shaking her head. "I better not live to see that." Later that day, Ocellus was in her dormitory, working on her homework, when she was called to the principal's office. She got worried then. Did she do something wrong? Maybe some classmate had a bone to pick with her for all this empathy stuff and Principal Moonbeam didn't like it. Well, here comes the tension, Ocellus thought. As she cautiously opened the door, she saw 3 brown stallions and a white stallion, all in lawyer uniforms, and they were talking with Principal Moonbeam. Hi, Ocellus said. "You wanted to see me?" "More like they did," Principal Moonbeam said, smiling. "I just happened to be here at the right place and at the right time." Ocellus sat on the letter stool, facing the white stallion, who sat in the principal's seat. "Greetings, Ocellus," said the white stallion. "I am Chancellor Naysay, of the Equestrian Lawyers Association, or the ELA. I must commend you on your victory in that court. Your performance was history. Do you realize that? You did something that only one other lawyer ever did. You applied the concept of empathy in order to understand the other side, while simultaneously shooting them down. You were taught by the best. Which is why I'm offering you a position." "A position? In the ELA?" Ocellus asked. "The ELA acts as a board of attorneys and lawyers who oversee every court case in Lunar Equestria," explained Chancellor Naysay. "Atticus Spark, your mentor, is one of our highest-ranking members. We have another such high position open, and who better to fill it than the changeling student who stood up against speciesism and won. What do you say? Once you make a decision, you cannot take it back." Ocellus thought about it. She could become an official lawyer. She could do more court cases and teach Atticus' method of empathy. She could carry on his legacy. But another part of her just wanted to have a normal life. She didn't want to deal with the hardships of examinations and open and closing arguments, right? She sighed. "Mr. Naysay, maybe I need some time to think about it." "You have till Wednesday, which is in 2 days," Naysay told her. "After that, we'll consider it a no." "Do it." "Are you sure?" Ocellus asked Sunset Shimmer. "All I want is normal life." "Is that all you want?" Sunset asked her. "Ocellus, don't lie to me. I know a part of you wants this. You want to make Atticus proud and carry on his legacy. Do it. What are you waiting for?" "But it's a full-time job," Ocellus said. "I won't have time for school. I won't have time for my friends or my family." "Whoever said that?" Ocellus, Sunset Shimmer explained. You've never even researched the ELA, have you? They have a full-time offering and a half-time offering. The high position you offered can still be worked at half-time. You can go there to work there after school for about 2 to 3 hours, then go do your thing. Or better yet, work from home. They allow that. A lot of lawyers don't actually supervise at the board. They work from home on their computers and stuff when they need to coordinate or meet with the board. I heard that some lawyers use the Zoom app or Google Meet to set up meetings and host meetings with the ELA. Do that. Ocellus took all this into consideration. What would Atticus think? Ask him, said Sunset Shimmer. She thought about something and then said, "Oh, come on! I forgot which math problem we were on. Oh, that's just great. Grrr." Ocellus met up with Atticus after school on Tuesday, where she found him playing buckball with his daughter on campus. "Hey, Atticus," Ocellus called. "Can I talk to you?" Atticus turned towards her, nodded, and told his daughter, "Please inflate this beach ball." "Oh, it's getting flat. Can't believe we decided to use a beach ball instead of a real buckball." He came over towards Ocellus. "What is it?" Ocellus described everything, from the position to Sunset's advice. Atticus seemed to understand. "They say, he's not usually the type to offer positions to 15-year-olds. Atticus said, "You must share my views that you're very special. But honestly, I can't speak for you, Ocellus. You need to make up your own mind about that. But Naysay's right. Once you make a choice, you can't take it back. Working from home, it's kind of a hassle, but the good type. So if you agree and tell him you'll be doing it that way, he'll understand." "Thanks, Atticus." Ocellus thanked him and walked away after waving goodbye to him and Citrine, who had just noticed her, come and waved back. Wednesday morning was when Naysay finally asked her if she made a decision, once again warning her about the deadline. Ocellus took a deep breath and said, "Mr. Naysay, I accept the position, but on one condition." "Oh?" Naysay asked her. "That I work from home and use special meeting sites and apps to coordinate and host meetings," Ocellus told him. Naysay nodded. "Kind of a hassle, but as Atticus always likes to tell me, the good type." "Agreed. Alright, welcome to the ELA, Ocellus. Here's your law degree and we start next Monday." Ocellus thanked him, took the certificate, and walked out of the principal's office after wishing him to have a good day. Back to Silverstream. The weekend soon arrived and it was Saturday. She walked home alone from therapy, no longer fearing the dark. She was a changed hypocrite. Now that she had been through the worst and experienced the hardships of court with Ocellus, the 8 years of slavery she experienced, plus Cozy Glow's wrath, seemed like a thing in the past. She was now more confident and sure of herself. The thing that best helped boost her recovery was being reunited with her real family. Even though she wasn't going to live in her real home, she would go and visit. She and Hawk agreed that they should visit every Sunday. As for therapy, her therapist said that today, Saturday, was the last day. She would be graduating her sessions as soon as Hawk signed the papers. That made her feel happy, although she would miss her therapist, who was so nice and kind to her. As she arrived at the cottage, she saw Hawk talking with Queen Novo, Terramar, Oceanflow, and Skybeak. "There she is," Oceanflow said, hugging her daughter. "Finally graduated from therapy?" Silverstream nodded. I'll miss Mrs. Sunny, though." "I know you will," Queen Novo told her. "I also know that you'll come visit us every Sunday. Right?" I will," Silverstream replied. "Tomorrow, I'd like to see what my old home looks like." "It's underwater," Skybeak said, but good thing your pearl necklace is in good shape. Take care of it. Do not lose it under any circumstances, or your Aunt Nova will never let us hear the end of it." Yeah, she'll be like, "You lost your necklace! That was the pearl transformation, you idiot! Now it's all gone!" Tamara added, giving a perfect imitation of Queen Nova when she got mad. And then I'll be like, "But Aunt Nova, we have more!" And then she'll scream, "No!" Everyone laughed, including Queen Nova, who commented, "That would be exactly what I'd say. You know me too well, my nephew." "Well, we must be going now," announced Oceanflow. "Gotta fly before it gets too dark, and we have to stay in Ponytown for an extra night." Skybeak nodded. "Stay safe, Silverstream. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow." Silverstream gave everyone one last group hug before Terramar said, "Wait! I have to give Silverstream something." Terramar gave Silverstream the photos he had of her when she was little. I was about to sacrifice these to please the Hasbro gods, but Princess Luna's transmission saved them. I love you, sister. I love you too, brother. Silverstream responded. Then all 4 other hippogriffs took off into the air, disappearing to the horizon. Hawk and Silverstream then went inside, the door shutting behind them. From the bushes, a familiar purple earth pony watched intently, smiling. Perfect. Silverstream's been kidnapped. Slash to the rescue. Play that later. Ocellus was eating dinner with her family Saturday night, a reflection on how this fanfiction had a dinner opening chapter. It all came full circle. Only one thing was different. Ocellus was a full-fledged lawyer now. She would be doing cases whenever they were needed, while balancing that with her life at school. 2 years had passed since the end of the Equestrian Civil War, and for many now, the war was a distant memory. The neighboring kingdoms gradually forgot everything about the war, and Luna's regime became the sole legitimate regime in their eyes. So, Cornwall said, how does it feel being a lawyer now? Ocellus hadn't thought about how it felt having the position. It probably will be the same sort of hassle I experienced in that last court case every time. Who knows? The whole family laughed over this. Suddenly, someone flew into their house. It was Hawk, who had a panicked look on his face. Ocellus, you have to come quick. Silverstream's been kidnapped. What? Ocellus asked, shocked. She forgot to finish her dinner, but that didn't matter. She took off with Hawk despite her parents and brother protesting she couldn't go, that it was too dangerous. The 2 of them flew in record speed towards Equestria, towards Ponyville, where they saw Sir Polymore and 3 cloaked ponies carrying Silverstream. She was knocked out and had her claws tied together. She was also gagged. Silverstream! Ocellus cried. She and Hawk tried to catch up with Zuri and her colt, but Zuri, seeing the 2 rescuers in pursuit, picked up the pace, tossed the bounding egg Silverstream on her back, and running like mad while the cloaked ponies held Silverstream on Zuri's back with magic. Eventually, the 2 rescuers reached the clearing near the forest, but they saw Zuri lay Silverstream down. Silverstream woke up, looked around and panicked, struggling but couldn't get her claws free because of the ropes. Zuri smiled as her cultists surrounded Silverstream on all sides. Now, no one will find you ever again. Silverstream cried for help, but her pleas came out muffled to the gag. No one's going to help you, Zuri announced with glee. You are mine! Fine. Let her go! Ocellus yelled. She and Hawk came into the clearing. Hawk had his guard spear down, and Ocellus stood threateningly. Zuri laughed. You 2 think you're going to stop me? You fools! One of her cultists unleashed a blast of magic that knocked Ocellus and Hawk out cold. No! Silverstream cried to the gay, forming with all her might, but she couldn't get up. And now, Zuri announced, eyes wide with madness and grinning evilly, to get rid of you. Burn! Zuri took Hawk's spear and raised it up and prepared to kill Silverstream with it. But just then, no! Someone shouted this in the distance, and all of a sudden, Zuri was tackled by a blue Pegasus mare, the Imperial Guard uniform. Zuri fought back, but the other mare was stronger. The 2 wrestled each other and engaged in a duel to the death. Who are you? Zuri roared. Her friend! Shouted the Pegasus mare. The 2 continued fighting, showing no mercy. The Pegasus mare took Silverstream's trembling form and tossed her outside of the clearing. The 2 mares hit each other across the face, before the blue Pegasus mare took Hawk's spear and plunged it into Sir Polymore's chest. The purple earth pony stumbled back, looking horrified at the spear in her chest, before she collapsed to the floor, dead. Seeing their leader's death, the cultists ran deep into the forest, never to be seen again. Chapter 20. Old Friends / Welcome Home Amber. Ocellus slowly got up from the floor after being knocked out and saw a blue Pegasus mare untying Silverstream's bonds and undoing the gag. Even Celestia couldn't be so vile as that mare. Ocellus heard the mare say. Once she was free, Silverstream stood up and stood face to face with the Pegasus mare. At first, no words were said, just like in the previous reunion, but then Silverstream recognized the mare. Amber Sky? Silverstream! Amber Sky exclaimed. Both of them hugged each other, a sight that warmed Ocellus' heart. Amber? Hawk said, also recognizing the lost recruit return. I remember you. Amber Sky gave a small smile. I recognize you too, Hawk. I was just heading back after being in self-imposed exile for 11 years. Hawk inquired, smiling back. Amber nodded. Well, we'd be honored to have you as a member of the Night Guard. Hawk told her. Canterlot's where you belong. Amber Sky looked reluctant. But the Empire's a thing of the past now, Hawk assured her. Princess Luna will forgive you for serving the Empire if that's what you mean. You had no choice. Please, Amber, Silverstream pleaded. Come back to Canterlot. Please? I'll be with you. Me too. Ocellus agreed. Amber Sky, my name is Ocellus, official lawyer of the Ponyville town, free of charge, fresh into the Equestrian Lawyers Association. I will defend you, if needed, should your presence be brought to the courts. Wait, Amber said. You're a lawyer? But you're only 15? Ocellus asked. When Amber nodded, she said, Yeah, I'm the first high school-age lawyer on the board, but I will be with you as well, should I need to clear your name. Thanks, Ocellus. Amber Sky thanked her. Alright, let's see if Princess Luna wants a bone to pick with me. The next day, Suri Polymer's death was all over the news. Rumors spread around. Some Socialist Democrats claimed on the news that a Republican lynch mob came to Suri's house and killed her for being liberal. Others claimed that the mighty Hasbro had delivered divine retribution on Suri for her crimes against equine rights and democracy. None of them could be farther from the truth. Ocellus could see Amber Sky trembling as they flew towards the Lunar Court Senate. She couldn't blame her. Amber, whether she was forced to or not, had defected from Luna's army and was about to come face to face with her old employer. It'll be alright, Silverstream told her old friend, offering an encouraging smile. Amber smiled back, but it was a nervous smile. Hawk directed them towards the Senate, and they landed in front of the main building. Two night guards stopped them, asking why their guest wore the armor of the fallen empire. Hawk explained everything, and reluctantly, the guards let them pass into the interior of the main building. Once again, Ocellus had the opportunity to interrupt everyone. Princess Luna, seeing this, was absolutely ticked off and was about to call Ocellus some profanity-based names she might regret later when she saw Amber Sky standing with her. Princess Luna visibly gasped. She called him over to her private quarters. When they were in there, Princess Luna said, Amber, is it really you? It's me, Princess, Amber Sky replied. Princess Luna's face broke into the widest smile ever seen, and she tackled Amber Sky in a bear hug. I thought you were dead, Princess Luna exclaimed. Where were you all these 2 years? Princess? Amber Sky asked, obviously implying it was hard to breathe. Luna noticed this and released her, smiling sheepishly. Amber Sky described everything. Since she fled into exile, she worked as a street vendor in Kloochtown for about 2 months, building up a good life for herself, before she took a job as a cabin mayor in Captain Seleno's pirate airship, which she stayed on for about 8 months before she decided to go back and face her past, planning to covertly write a letter to Princess Luna saying she was sorry before she spotted a kidnapping in Ponyville, and followed the gang into the clearing, where she took on and killed Suri Polymer, saving Silverstream's life. That must have been an eventful 2 years, Hug said, laughing quietly. It makes my imprisonment in the Chateau d'If look like nothing compared to what you went through. Indeed. Amber, I do not fault you for that armor. My sister forced you to serve her. But you proved that you still have the Lunar Republican spirit when you tried to help Silverstream escape slavery. Silverstream here told me everything. But I chickened out, Amber told Silverstream. I could have saved you, but I was too much of a coward. Silverstream shook her head. You don't get it, Amber. If you didn't sell me out right there, Mistress would have killed you or severely hurt you. You were protecting yourself, not chickening out. There's a difference. Amber nodded, although she wasn't entirely convinced. I'm offering you a position back in the military, Princess Luna said. This is our chance to start afresh. You could finish your training and rise up in rank to become as good of a general as Hawk was when he was in charge. But the choice is yours. I cannot force you, but I want us to start anew. Amber looked at Silverstream, who nodded encouragingly. Finally, she took Luna's hoof and said, "I accept, Princess." "Then I must say this," Princess Luna said warmly. "Welcome home, Amber." Chapter 21. Cozy Glow's execution. Sympathy from the justice system when you enslaved my daughter. Hawk shot back. "You framed me and cheated the legal system, all because you viewed her life as a privilege. In what way was it? At the time, she was emotionally and mentally scarred from her traumatic experience and had to go to therapy every Saturday. We may have had the high life, and now still do, but her life was in no way a privilege despite that. She never had a proper upbringing, even with me, so don't act like she has everything, because even now she does not." "Stop," Silverstream told him. She came up to Cozy Glow. "Cozy, you may be mad, and I understand that, but don't take your frustrations out on everyone else. It was me you wanted, not them. But you know what? I've seen a lot in my life thus far. I forgive you." Cozy Glow blinked. "You what?" "I said I forgive you," Silverstream clarified, much to the shock of her friends and adoptive father. "You may be mad at me, but I forgive you for everything you did. I can't fault you for wanting to improve the status of your life. But what I can't understand, why did you go through all this? You could have finished your education, go to college, graduate, and move you and your family out of the dump after getting a high-paying job. You didn't have to do this, Cozy." Cozy Glow's expression changed from confusion to regret. "I don't know." But then she regained her arrogance and said, "But that doesn't matter. You may forgive me, but nothing can change the fact that you're still a little brat who deserves to be tortured and murdered in cold blood, stupid loser." "Fine then," Silverstream replied. "But just know that no matter how many times you insult me, I still forgive you. I don't like to hold grudges. I forgive your mistress for her terrible treatment of me. I forgive you for the same thing. Cozy, you may be right. Maybe I am a stupid little brat who deserves to be tortured and slaughtered. But I forgive you, nonetheless. And even though you'll die, I hope you realize that during your final moments that we could have been friends." At this, Cozy Glow's arrogance finally broke, and she looked extremely regretful now. "Silverstream, I don't deserve your forgiveness." "Yes, you do," Silverstream told her. "It's my forgiveness, Cozy. Nothing changes the fact that you committed a capital crime. But what does change is how the victim receives it. Maybe others don't see it this way, but I see you as someone who went off the deep end trying to improve your life. We all try and improve the quality of our living when we want to, and although nothing changes what you did, I still believe we could have been friends. Why don't we start anew? In your last moments, why don't we start anew? I'm willing to give you a second chance. Sometimes love is the only thing you really need." Tears rolled down Cozy Glow's face. She smiled and said, "Thank you, Silverstream. You don't know how much I needed to hear that." She smiled at one another. Just then, 2 police officers came over and unlocked the cell. One of them said, "Cozy Glow, it's time. You five will wait just outside the execution room," said the other guard. "I don't want the sympathetic one and the loving one messing up anything." "I'll keep them here," Hawk said. "Silverstream knows better not to mess with the legal system, and Ocellus is a dignified young lawyer now. They know better." "I hope so," said the first guard. "As with the policy, anyone who tries to help the prisoner escape shall be put to death alongside her." The 5 of them sat down individually in the 5 waiting seats, just outside the execution room where the wooden electric chair was visible. The guard shaved off Cozy Glow's mane, then zattered down her hair, fastening her restraints and belts on. Amber Sky looked at the process and said, "She deserves it." You all don't get it," Silverstream whispered quietly. At this, Amber snapped, "Oh, we don't get it? Let me remind you that she framed your father, forged documents, reduced you to a mere chattel slave, and cheated the legal system, bringing communism into this country, which brought down the drain. You're the one who doesn't get it, Silverstream. You're too nice. You wouldn't be defending her if she killed Hawk right in front of you. Or Ocellus for that matter. Or her." She indicated Citrine's bark as she sat there silently, hooves in her lap, eyes glued to the floor. Think about what you do, Silverstream. You're defending a traitor and a criminal. Guilty or no, she must die. Such is the law. Silverstream opened her mouth to argue in Cozy Glow's favor, but Amber gave a look that said there would be no further discussion. "I'm sorry, Silverstream," Ocellus told her friend. "Because of my lessons with Atticus, I can sympathize with Cozy's motivation to better her life, but my pity does not extend so far as to forgive her for what she did to you. I'm a lawyer now, but I'm never going to defend a pony like that. Takes all the guards, put the metal helmet on Kozuko's bald head, attaching the final electrocutes. They asked her if she had any last words. Kozuko's response was, "Tell Silverstream that I don't deserve her kindness, but I am grateful for it." "Okay," said the first guard. "Now, also," Kozuko said smirky, "I'm finally out of the dump. Now that's something, am I right? For a while, I had the high life. That's what matters in the end. I won, but lost, but still won. No regrets. Except maybe not trademarking no regrets. That was a mistake. One of many." The short speech caused both those guards, including Kozuko, to have a good laugh over, especially not the trademarking no regrets aspect of it. The second guard wiped his eyes, finishing his laughter. "Oh boy, a prisoner hasn't made me laugh like that in ages. Hilarious one." "Indeed," agreed the first guard. "Alright, let's get this over with before I have second thoughts about this and I have to put to that alongside her. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go." The situation had turned from grim to lighthearted, but it soon turned back to grim as the execution began. Kozuko cried out and screamed in pain that wrenched Silverstream's heart. "Kelsey!" Silverstream tried getting up and trying to go to the other room, but Hawk managed to wrestle her back to her seat, preventing her from getting up by blocking her with the soap. It took about 15 seconds before the second jolt of electricity began for another 15 seconds. Finally, it was over. The heart monitor showed Kozuko's heart had stopped. She was dead. Chapter 22. Afterwards. / the Soviets are coming. Finale. After the execution, things went back to normal. Well, as normal as they could be anyways. Silverstream, now fully recovered and having made peace with her traumatic past and present experiences, did better in school and excelled in math and science, subjects she was formerly known to perform poorly on. Amber Sky soon became a high-ranking general in the Night Guard and picked up where she left off. Ocellus won about 45 cases in about a year when she was just 16, leading many ponies to hire her as their lawyer because she was so good. There was word that Atticus was elected senator in the Lunar Court Senate during congressional elections. And Citrine Spark and her mysterious stallion who really liked her broke up. The reasoning for that was that Citrine found out that the stallion was in reality a big fat slob who only liked her for her money and the fact that her father was a lawyer. As a result, she made a decision and broke up with him, despite it breaking her heart to do so. With the Congressional Powers Act of 2021, Hawk officially returned power that Amber Race had stolen for herself to the Senate, essentially eradicating the last elements of socialism/communism in lunar Equestria. Silverstream and Ocellus started hanging out with Sandbar, Yona, Gallus, and Smolder again, and the Young Six was reformed. However, with all peaceful and happy endings, it would not last, for General Secretary Rick Latyaskov had his eyes set on equestrian domination. Now was his time. The next adventure began when Hawk was reading over a newspaper detailing the Silverstream/Hawk trial. Ponyville Times. High school students win landmark victory in Silverstream Hawk trial. Silverstream was playing outside with Ocellus. Hawk looked up and smiled. It was great to see Silver, fully recovered, finally enjoying a normal life. He knew one day Silver would make peace with her past and move on. But just then, Owl, his associate and former military comrade, came running up to him. "Hawk, you're an idiot and can't a lot at once. The Soviets have invaded Equestria." Hawk gasped. "What?" Silverstream and Ocellus heard this and were instantly alarmed. Ocellus asked in a horrified voice, "The Soviets are invading? They're actually real?" Silverstream asked, showing her friend's horror. "Yes, Silverstream," Ocellus told her. "They're very real. Criminals and cheaters or no, the conspirators did not make up Premier Latyaskov in the new USSR. I guess they're not happy that their little Russian spies' plans were foiled?" "Looks like that," Hawk agreed. "Alright, let's go to Canterlot. We don't have a moment to lose." To be continued in The Search for Princess Twilight Sparkle. Da dun 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 da dun 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 da dun 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 dun.